Hear ye, the dishonorable Judge Joleen is back for Karen Read, day 9 of the Karen Read trial. So grab a beverage. Hopefully you're wearing something very comfy. Smash that like, hit that subscribe, and we have to get this party started as soon as I find my intro. Okay, here we go.
Jen! 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 Because I had like bread and maybe peanut butter in my car.
Why did you have bread and peanut butter in your car?
I had my niece for the week, and I was dragging her like to all my kids' sporting events. So we'd go from like one game to another game to a practice. So sometimes instead of always giving her McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts, I'd try to throw her a peanut butter sandwich.
And they were making fun of you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what the hell?
Sometimes instead of always giving her McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Stand-up comedian, pop culture vulture, and sometimes satirical judge, Joleen Lunzer, here for Karen Read's retrial. We have number 2 trial for Karen Read, and we're on day 9. And we have a plethora of witnesses that have been hitting the stand this morning. What we do over here is we react to the trial. We react to the testimonies. We take a comedic look with producer Prince and other fur baby producers in training. And we sometimes find the funny, sometimes we don't. Remember that I am very opinionated, but that obviously doesn't mean you can't have your opinion. You are free to sound off in the live chat or the comment section, and we can just respectfully agree to disagree without calling each other lint lickers.
What the French toast?
Did you think I wouldn't find out about your little doo-doo head cootie queen?
Who are you calling a cootie queen, you lint licker?
Who are you calling a cootie queen, you lint licker? Remember, everything I say is true except for the parts that are false. Everything is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. So don't sue me.
Allegedly.
So good to see all of you. Happy Monday. Happy. Thank you, Kelly Kate says, yay. I love when I see the notification that Joleen is live. Thank you. And I will be live later, early this evening, I should say, for as I recap The Valley season 2, episode 3. And we have a new episode of The Valley on Bravo airing tomorrow, Tuesday. So we have to get into everything that has been going on. Obviously we're behind in the live viewing of the trial, which is how we like it, because then, for the day, then we can fast forward through the sidebars and any kind of lunch breaks. But this is a full day, a full week for the Karen Read trial, and Judge Joleen is here for it. Objection. You're not a real judge. Overruled. But I play one on YouTube, and you should know better than to test me. Okay? Also,
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. I am a real judge. So if you guys want to support the channel, smash that like, hit that subscribe. If you want exclusive bonus content and fun emojis, make sure you sign up for my YouTube membership. I will drop a link for that in the live chat. And if you want to if you want to support the channel even further than that, there's always the option to tip, and you can do so by hitting up the YouTube. What's it called again? I forgot what it's called. It's Monday, you guys. A super chat. That's what it's called. You can send a super chat while we're live. I'll highlight your comment. Or I have in the description my Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. Thank you to those of you who have hit me up. Oh my gosh, it is Monday. I got a case of the Mondays. For sure. Okay, I'm going to pull up the Court TV one, but I also am going to check out the trial channel because I believe they already uploaded a couple of the testimonies that I want to react to today. Okay, let me just pause this one. So while I'm doing that, just make sure you smash that like. Let's set a like goal for 250. Can we hit 250 likes? That would be amazing. It lets the YouTube algorithm know we're here. We're talking about stuff. Come on over, baby. Like is that Christina Aguilera? Come on over, baby. Yeah. Okay, Joleen. calm down. Just please don't Google hose long to die in the cold.
Jen! Jen!
Jen. And if you're making peanut butter sandwiches, make sure you're not doing so in the car.
And his mother leans over the kitchen island and says to me, I think it looks like he got hit by a car. It looks like he got hit by a car.
Perhaps you may be able to help solve a mystery.
It's a mystery.
John's boyfriend, Karen Read, killed him.
Oh my goodness. John's boyfriend, Karen Read, allegedly killed him, according to what we're watching here. All right. Let's jump in to Court TV. And again, we're not going to be covering all of them because we started back up this morning with the wonderful Hannah, who is like a super smart scientist lady. Props to her. Love that for her. But shout out to Hannah. But I was tray bored. No offense, all offense, talking about blood alcohol level. I know the blood alcohol level of everyone in Canton, allegedly, very high, above the legal limit, and they're all driving. Okay, so let's jump into the first witness today, which is, I forgot this guy's name again. I always remember his friend's name. Testifying. Okay, so he was the one who picked up his sister. He was like, I'm picking up my sister today. So we have, let me just get all the names here. Oh goodness, they have had so many people testify today. It is crazy pants USA. How many people? So we're bypassing the blood alcohol and we're going to talk about to Ryan Nagel. And he picked up his sister, or attempted to pick up his sister, Julie Nagel, from the potty. And she was like, come in, let's have some beers. Let's have some drinks. And he's like, nah. And so him and his friends, he had a sober driver. They drove all the way to the party, if you remember, to pick up Julie Nagel, who was at the Albert House, 34 Fairview. And then she was like, just kidding. Hello, Julie. It was a snowstorm. And you made your brother and his friends drive all the way to get you. You're like, I'm just joking. I don't need a ride. Leave it to a sister to do that. Okay, so the first person we're going to be hearing from, I'm going to speed it up a little bit, is Ryan. Let's see what he has to say. Give me a thumbs up in the chat as soon as you hear the audio of this testimony.
Yes. At some point, do the two parts of that circle intersect with another road?
I believe so.
Okay. Is Fairview, from your knowledge, attached to Cedar Crest Road?
Yes.
As you were traveling, did you travel on Cedar Crest before you got to Fairview?
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask you some questions about right
Thanks,
before
Liz.
you turn on, or Ricky turns on to Fairview. As you're driving down Cedar,
Okay, so his friend Ricky is his sober driver. He only had like a drink, I guess. Or maybe he only had 5. And in Canton, allegedly, that is sober. And so he's driving and they're going to pick up his sister Julie. And I believe Hanky Panky Brennan is asking him questions. The prosecution first.
Cedar Crest
It's
before
a prosecution witness.
you turn on to Fairview, did you see anything?
I saw a vehicle coming at us. Not directly at us, but obviously traveling on the other side of the road.
And where was that vehicle traveling towards?
Us, and then they put their blinker on to take a right.
And
For them to take a right.
that vehicle was going to take a right onto Fairview?
Correct, sir.
And your vehicle is coming in the opposite direction?
Yeah,
Correct.
vehicle.
Where was your vehicle going?
Taking a left onto
Or
Fairview.
speed
Did you
two.
both meet at that intersection?
Yes, roughly around the same time.
Who turned onto Fairview first?
The other vehicle.
How did that happen?
I believe Ricky flashed his lights to let them go.
Did you see the other vehicle?
Yes.
Do you remember what kind of vehicle it was?
That was a black SUV.
When that car turned right onto Fairview, how long after did Ricky turn left onto Fairview?
Seconds.
When you came to that intersection and met that car, when Ricky blinked his lights, could you see inside that SUV?
Say that again?
When you came to the intersection at Fairview,
Mhm.
and you said that the driver of your truck, Ricky, blinked his lights, could you see anything inside
Go, Ricky.
the SUV?
Go,
I
Ricky.
wasn't really looking.
After that SUV turned right onto Fairview and Ricky turned left onto Fairview, who was in front of who?
The other vehicle was in front of us.
Was the other vehicle in front of you the entire time you saw it?
Yes, sir.
Did Ricky ever drive and park in front of that vehicle?
No, we were behind them.
Always behind it?
Always.
When Ricky pulled up to Fairview, where did he stop?
Right in front of the driveway. Of the Albert's house.
You were in the front passenger side of the truck?
Correct, sir.
If you looked directly outside that window, what would you have seen?
The driveway and the house.
The other vehicle, did it stop at the driveway?
No, it was probably like a car length in front of us.
So it was in front of you?
Correct, sir.
Did you ever see that car stop at the driveway?
At the driveway, I don't recall.
Did you wait before you got to Fairview, or did Ricky drive directly to Fairview after he took the left?
Well, he turned the left onto Fairview.
Okay. Did he wait, or did he drive directly to Fairview?
He drove directly there.
The car in front of you, did you ever see it move behind you in front of the driveway?
It was in front of me the whole time.
And so I'll ask the question again. Did you ever see that SUV stop at the foot of the driveway?
No, but I did see the brake lights. It looked like it moved, but it wasn't. So the brake lights are on. They released them and then stopped again. So probably moved another car length up.
How many times did you see the brake lights on?
Just once, sir.
After you stopped at the foot of the driveway, did you keep your attention on that SUV?
Not really. No, I was more concerned about my sister.
So you weren't studying it?
No.
Were you making any notes or trying to mark its direction of travel?
No.
But you do know, or do you have any doubt that it was in front of you the entire time?
Yes, it was.
He seems
When
pretty
you pulled to
comfy.
the driveway, did you go in to see your sister?
No.
What did you do?
I texted her saying we're here, and she came out, opened up the door. She looks at me and Rick and said, "Hey, do you guys want to come in? For a drink or whatever." And I looked at him, looked in the back seat, asked Heather. We said, "No, we're all set. We're gonna go home." And so she decided to stay.
So the idea was to give her a ride home. You did not give her.
Oh, that must be it's so annoying. Drunk person guy, come give me a ride. Just come on a ride. Come give me. And Ricky's like, all right, I've only had 6 beers. I'm pretty sober. And then you get there and she's like, just kidding. I'm gonna say.
Not give her a ride home?
Correct, we did not.
Let me ask you some questions. Before your sister came out of the house, do you remember how long you waited for her?
For roughly 2 minutes.
In its entirety, how long was that truck parked at the foot of the driveway in front of Fairview?
Probably closer to 5 minutes, sir.
Is that an estimate?
Yes, I'm just guessing from what I can remember.
Did you mark the time in any way? Look at your watch in any way?
No, sir.
That's your general memory?
You're just roughly trying to remember.
When you looked up at the house, did you see there were more than one door?
Yes, there were
Do you
two
remember?
doors. Yes.
Do you remember what door your sister came out of?
She came out of the side door, which is to the left of the garage.
Did you watch her?
Yes.
Where did she walk? From where to where?
She walked out of that door down the driveway towards us.
When she reached you, how did you have a conversation with her if you were in the truck?
I opened the door, my passenger door.
As you were speaking with her, were you watching anything else, or was your attention directed to your sister?
Nope, just on my sister.
At some point after your sister turned to go inside, did you wait for her, or did you leave right away? Or did Ricky leave right away?
We waited for her to get back into the house.
That's a good brother. Make sure she's
At any
safe.
point before your sister went back in the house, did you see any lights, like dome lighting, come on inside that SUV?
Yes, I did, sir.
Before or after your sister went in the house?
Roughly like as she was getting in the door.
Before you ended your conversation with her, did you see the dome light go on in that SUV?
Say that again, sorry.
Before your sister left the driveway,
Mhm.
did you see any dome light on in the SUV?
No, I wasn't looking.
Your sister began to walk back to the house. What was your direction? What was your attention focused on?
Mainly on her. We were pulling away from the driveway and kind of just glancing back over at Julie to make sure she got in.
When your sister went back up the driveway to go in the house, when was the next point you had any chance to see the SUV?
When we were passing it.
When you were passing the SUV, where was it located in relation to the house, flagpole?
Directly in front of the house.
Was it anywhere near the flagpole as you drove by?
Probably like a car length from that.
A car length from the flagpole?
Yes, give or take.
Is that the middle, right, or left side of the house?
That would be towards the left side of the house.
As you drove by that SUV, what was your primary focus?
My sister, sir. Like watching her get in.
You were being attentive to her getting in?
Correct, sir.
As you watched her get in, did you glance or see anything else in your vision as you were watching your sister go into the
I
house?
saw that there was a woman in the driver's seat of the black SUV in front of me,
was
sitting there with her hands on
Karen.
the steering wheel at 10 and 2.
Did you get a good enough look that you would remember who that person was, or was it too brief to
It
identify
was
the person?
too brief, sir.
You saw the person in the SUV with their hands on the wheel. How did you see them inside the car?
Their dome light was on.
Do you know how a dome light comes on in a vehicle?
Yes, sir. Either you press it yourself or if there's a door open.
When you had the glance or the glimpse of the woman in that SUV holding the wheel, you said 10 and 2?
Correct, sir.
Could you describe for us what that means?
Just like a clock, just the hands on the clock, like 10 and 2.
The sirens.
I was just waiting for the siren, Your Honor.
Thanks, Hanky Panky.
If I could show Exhibit 3 to Mr. Nagel.
Redder than Jax's. Kitty, kitty, meow. Sometimes we get them red
So
now.
you recognize that address?
Yes, sir.
And what is that address?
That is 34 Fairview Road.
Do you recognize the flagpole?
Yes, I do, sir.
Thank you. When you drove by and you said you saw a woman sitting in the front and the dome light was on, did you see anybody else in the car?
No, sir.
Were you looking for anybody?
No, sir.
Could there have been somebody else in the vehicle at that time?
It could have been, yes.
Could there have been someone standing outside the door?
Yes, it could have been.
When you saw the person, were you studying the person?
No.
How long of a time did you have to take a glimpse of that person?
5-10 seconds, maybe.
Now, I want to ask you some questions about the entire time you were parked at the foot of the driveway until the point that you left Fairview. From when you first stopped at the driveway at Fairview until the point that you left and were no longer in front of that property, did you ever see any person get out of that SUV that was in front of you?
No, I did not, sir.
Did you ever see anybody, any man, ever cross the front yard towards that home?
No, I did not, sir.
Did you ever see any man ever enter or stand in that front door?
No, I did not, sir.
Did you ever see anybody walk across the front yard to the side door?
Objection. Oh, she's allowing it.
No, I did not, sir.
Shocker.
Did you ever see anybody enter that side door other than your sister?
No, I did not, sir.
As you were parked at the driveway the entire time, that generally 5-minute time, did you ever see anybody get out of the SUV and walk down the street towards the driveway?
No, I did not, sir.
Did you ever see anybody walk past your truck and up the driveway?
No, I did not, sir.
Did you ever see any person other than your sister outside of those vehicles the entire time that you were at Fairview?
No, I did not, sir.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
So Nagel is basically testifying that he didn't see a man, i.e. John O'Keefe, outside of Reed's SUV, either walking or to the house or lying on the lawn. When they pulled up to pick up Julie, and she was like, never mind, I don't want to go. Okay, bye. Ready? Now we got Yannetti. Is Yannetti coming to cross? Did they just say?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yep.
You
I know that.
testified about having seen a black SUV before the vehicle that you were in entered Fairview Road at around midnight on January 29th of 2022, correct?
Correct, sir.
Objection. That's not facts and evidence.
That's okay. The witness's answer is what matters. Is that right?
Yes.
You first saw that black SUV when it was coming toward your vehicle when you were on Cedar Crest, correct? I'm sorry. Let me repeat that because of the siren. You first saw that black SUV when it was coming toward the vehicle that you were in on Cedar Crest, correct?
Correct, sir.
Your friend Ricky D'Antano was driving at that time?
D'Antano, sorry.
D'Antano?
Yes.
Ricky,
He was driving at the time?
Ricky.
Correct, sir.
Mr. Yannetti, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, dang. Fire trucks.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Ricky doesn't drink, correct?
He does.
He wasn't drinking that night.
Objection. Your Honor, this is Canton. Everybody drinks. Everyone's sloshed. We're all drunk right now. Sustained. Sustained.
By 1 or 2?
But he appeared to be
See,
driving.
1 or 2. That's sober driving.
Joe,
Okay.
did you get the news yet?
No nudes yet.
Let me
No,
know.
my husband wants to know if I got the nudes yet. I've been checking the phone just like Michael Proctor. No nudes yet. Just a leaky balloon knot.
Driving safely?
Yes, sir.
And you also had a chance to observe the black SUV at that time as it was facing you, correct?
Yes.
When you saw it on Cedar Crest, you didn't know who was driving it at that time, correct?
No, I couldn't see.
But your observations of the black SUV at that time were that whoever was driving it, that person appeared to be driving safely as well, correct?
Yeah, I would assume so, yes.
One of the first things you noticed about the black SUV was that it was in front of you on Cedar Crest, and both Ricky's F-150 and the black SUV were basically converging on Fairview at about the same time?
Yes, sir.
The black SUV appeared to be going at a safe speed.
Yes.
It appeared to be properly staying within its lane.
Yes, I would say. Yeah.
And when it was time for Ricky to take a left onto Fairview, he actually put on his left blinker, or not left blinker, but both his blinker, flashed his lights to signal that it was okay for the black SUV to cut in front of it, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he actually did have his left blinker on at that time, correct? Prior
Yes,
to doing that? And the black SUV had its right directional on, correct?
Nudes. Did you get
And when both cars have their directionals on.
You sent me your nudes?
Yeah, my nude.
Let me look. No nudes yet.
Oh,
No nudes yet.
this is my balloon knot.
I don't want to see that leaky balloon knot.
You're
Okay.
a fucking pervert.
You fucking pervert. You fucking pervert. My husband, the fucking pervert. So basically, Ryan Nagel here is, he just confirmed that, like, no, she was driving pretty well. So turns out Karen Read might be a good drunk driver. I don't know.
Indicating they're going down the same street. The black SUV did not suddenly
Hashtag
cut
no
in
nudes
front
yet.
of Ricky's vehicle until the flashing of the lights, correct?
Correct, sir.
Both cars appeared to be operating safely, correct?
Correct, sir.
And
Oh my God, these sirens.
once the lights were flashed, there was nothing about the operation of that black SUV that told you that the driver appeared to be confused about what the flashing meant, correct?
Correct, sir.
The black SUV didn't hesitate at that time. It just proceeded on to Fairview in front of you, correct?
Correct, sir.
And it did so in a safe manner.
Correct, sir.
Correct, sir.
And the black SUV, in that sense, got ahead of Ricky's vehicle, correct?
Correct, sir.
And once you got to the Albert home, you noticed that the black SUV was parked outside the Albert home, correct?
Correct, sir.
And at that time, the snow had not yet started sticking to the pavement, correct?
Correct, sir.
You could see the pavement in both the driveway and the street.
This is crazy watching someone testify in this trial who's not pushing back on every question in the cross-examination and going, can I see that? I'm going to take a look at that. What bar would you say we're at? Show me, you got proof? This is crazy. It's going so fast.
Correct, sir.
You could also see the grass on the lawn.
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
The snow was only just starting to accumulate on the grass, correct?
Correct, sir.
And with that little snow on the ground, you saw no tire marks behind the SUV, correct?
No, sir.
In fact, you saw no tire marks in the street at all.
Correct, sir.
May I have the map displayed, please?
It's almost like he might.
Evidence already, Ms. Tinetti?
Truth.
May we approach?
Okay.
We got an approach. She's like, you can approach Yannetti. Okay, I'll let you. It's not Alan. I think Bev's got a little crush on Yannetti and Hanky Panky.
Okay. Thank you.
Mostly on Hanky Panky. Get it, Yannettes. Oh, he got a fresh cut.
Okay.
Can you
Mr.
enlarge that, please?
Oh,
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Bev, you're asking so nice today when it's Yanni. Can you enlarge that, please? Listen, guys. Ooh, it's getting dark in here. So romantic.
Okay.
Can you
Mr.
enlarge that, please?
Oh my God, so sweet. Can you enlarge that, please? And he goes, oh, I can enlarge it. Okay. Objection. Jolene, why do you have to make it sexual? Overruled. I can make anything I want. I was going to sustain you, but I'm going to overrule you. Okay? Because I can't enlarge anything. Chickenhead, thank you for the first super chat. The live Chickenhead says, were we live? Where we live or where we live? I need to learn to read. Okay. Where we live, we do not have, you don't have sirens? So to hear one in real time, it's like, wow. Oh, love from the rainforest. There's no sirens in the rainforest. That must be nice. That must be so nice. Well, you'll get all the sirens here watching this case. Thank you, Chickenhead.
Yeah, actually, yeah. You know what? If we could enlarge it.
Ooh, him and Bev going, you can enlarge it. No, you enlarge it. I'm going to enlarge it. I'm large. I'm large and in charge.
So you don't have to show Chapman. Just show Cedar Crest and Fairview and maybe pull it in a little bit to the right now, the other way. See if that works.
Bev's fondling her bangs.
I don't know how your eyes are, sir, but are you able to read the street names on?
To be honest with you, I can't see that far.
Okay, if I
Nobody can read
suggested
that.
to you
Okay, I
that
can now.
the top street horizontal going down from right to left was Cedar Crest, and that the street where the red arrow is Fairview Road, would that orient you?
Yes, sir.
And would it be fair to say that before you actually were coming down Cedar Crest Road as you look at this map from right to left, correct?
Correct, sir.
And in that sense, you were traveling west on Cedar Crest, correct?
Yes.
You turned south onto Fairview, correct?
Correct, sir.
And you were still facing south when you parked in front of 34 Fairview, correct?
Correct, sir.
And that means that when you're sitting in that vehicle on Fairview Road, if you were going to walk to the house or look to the house, you would be walking or looking in a westerly direction, correct?
From where I was in the vehicle?
Yes.
Yes. So to my right, yes.
Okay, and so when you were looking for Julie to come out, you were looking to the west?
Correct, sir.
All right, Your Honor, I would offer that into evidence. We're going to have a hard copy printed out for the jury after this examination.
Oh, how nice.
Okay, so we need something for the court reporter.
Sure.
Oh my
We
God,
will
Bev, stop. Did you guys seeing this? Bev, she's like, we're going to need Mr. Yannetti. We're going to need some. She's a giggle squad over here. Oh my gosh. Love, exciting and new.
A hard copy printed out for the jury after this examination.
Okay, so we need something for the court reporter.
Sure. All right, we will take care of that. Thank you.
All right, so
And you can put the lights back on and you can take that down.
Bevy, she's like,
so
Yannetti.
go ahead, madam.
49, thank you. And sir, it took a couple of minutes for
Flirting
Julie to come
today.
out after Ricky parked the F-150.
Yes.
When she did come out, you opened the door and you had a conversation with her while she stood between the door and the passenger compartment of the F-150?
Repeat that, please. Sorry.
Sure. When she did come out, she approached the F-150, correct?
Correct, sir.
And you were in the passenger's compartment, right?
Correct, sir.
You opened up the passenger's door, correct?
Correct, sir.
And she sort of, you stayed in the vehicle, right?
Correct. I never left.
And she came sort of into like the crook of the door and the passenger's compartment.
Yes, sir.
All right. You had a chance. And how close did she get to you?
I could have popped on her nose if I wanted to.
Okay. And you had a chance to observe her and
Glad you
size her
didn't.
up, correct?
Correct, sir.
You spoke to her for maybe about 5 minutes was your best estimate?
I wouldn't say 5. I'd probably say 2 or 3.
Okay. But in any case, you did have a chance to observe her, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it was clear to you that your sister Julie seemed like she had had a few drinks, correct?
I mean, yeah, it was 12:30 in the morning, so yes.
And she called.
I love the Canton logic. I mean, yeah, it was 12:30 in the morning. Of course, she had some drinks. It's 12:30 in the morning. All right. Everyone's lit up by then, sir. Thank you.
You for a ride, right?
Yes, she knew that Ricky was driving.
Right. And when you arrived there was a discussion about whether she'd actually take the ride, right?
Correct, sir.
If she was just going to come out and take the ride, there would have been no need for the conversation, correct?
Correct.
But do you recall previously testifying that you were out talking to Julie for over 5 minutes?
I would not say over 5 minutes, no.
Do you deny that it was about 5 minutes?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Do you deny it was about 5 minutes?
Could have been.
Okay.
I'm not.
Fair enough. And you talked with her about whether
At least he's not asking. I'm going to need to see proof that I said that. I'm going to read it and then read it very slowly like Jen McCabe.
wanted to go in the truck and leave with you, correct?
Correct, sir.
You also talked about whether instead you, Heather, and Ricky would go into the house to join the gathering there.
Correct, sir.
There was a back and forth that you really thought was unnecessary, correct?
I wouldn't say it'd be unnecessary. It's just a common question if you want to come in and have a drink.
But you have testified in the past that Julie can be kind of a pain in the ass, correct?
And also there can be, yeah.
What? He says, you've testified in the past that your sister's a pain in the ass. He goes, I mean, all siblings can be. Julie's watching going, what the fuck? Are you serious? What did I do? Oh, yeah. I asked him to come all the way over and drive in the snow. And then I was like, just kidding. I don't want to go home. Yannetti, she's a pain in the ass. We know. We've met her.
In any case, Julie decides to go back inside and you decide to leave, correct?
Correct, sir.
Ricky did not speed up the street at that time.
No.
He just gradually pulled out.
Correct, sir.
His direction of
That's what Bev said that she wants Yannetti to do. Gradually pull out. Stop it. Objection, Jolene. That is unprofessional. Sustained. You're right. It is unprofessional. But I never said I was a professional. But okay, here we go.
travel took him right past the black SUV that was now in front of you, correct?
Correct, sir.
He passed the black SUV on the left, correct?
Correct, sir.
And you were in the front passenger seat at that time still, correct?
Correct, sir.
So you were closest to the black SUV of the people that were in your vehicle as you passed it, correct?
Correct, sir. Yes.
And you were closest to the driver's side of the black SUV, correct?
Correct, sir.
You noticed that the interior dome light was on, correct?
That is correct, sir.
That lit up the whole front compartment of the SUV, did it not?
Yes.
It lit up the driver's seat and the passenger seat, correct?
All I could see was the driver at the time, sir.
Understood. But the light wasn't just shining just on the driver. It wasn't pointed at the driver.
I would say they were both lights that go down in both seats, correct? They were on.
Yes. Okay. So you could see both seats in the front driver's compartment.
I couldn't
correct?
see past the woman.
Well, you only saw one.
I only saw a woman. Sorry to interrupt you. Yes.
No problem. It allowed you to see into that front compartment.
Yes.
All right. And you saw one person inside the car at that time.
Correct, sir.
It was a woman with long hair in the driver's seat, correct?
Correct, sir.
And she looked like she was alone.
Yes.
You didn't see anybody else in the SUV.
No, I did not, sir.
You certainly didn't see a 6'1" man in the SUV in the passenger seat, correct?
Correct, sir.
In fact, you saw that the passenger seat was empty.
Correct.
He's like, yeah. He saw it. It's a no-brainer.
The woman in the passenger seat was staring straight ahead, correct?
Not in the passenger
Driver.
seat.
I'm sorry.
Driver's seat.
Come on,
thank you for
Yannetti.
catching that. The woman in the driver's seat was staring straight ahead.
That is correct, sir.
You didn't see her lips moving as if she were talking, correct?
I wasn't looking for that.
But
Just
you
happened to see a woman figure with her hands like this.
Okay. Facing straight.
Correct, sir.
You had no music on in Ricky's truck at that time, correct?
No, sir.
Ricky had turned the music down when Julie came out so that you could actually speak to her, correct?
That is
What
correct.
were you listening to?
And when you got close
Boys
to
to
that
Men.
SUV while you were passing it, you didn't hear any arguing there, correct?
Correct.
You didn't hear any yelling, correct?
No, I did not.
You didn't hear any screaming?
No, I did not.
You heard no noises within that SUV at all?
No, I did not, sir.
All right, case closed.
I have no further
Gee,
questions. Thank you.
they didn't get in a fight.
Mr. Brennan?
Hanky Panky's coming back. It's me again, Hanky Panky. I didn't like how Bev was flirting with you.
Sir, you mentioned you were at that address around 12:30,
That is correct, sir.
and you offered us that you were there for about 5 minutes.
Yes.
Do you know the exact time you left?
No, not off the top of my head right now. No.
Was it around that time?
Yes, sir.
Would it be fair to say you don't have certainty whether it was 12:35, 12:32, 12 o'clock?
It's probably before 12:35, roughly between 12:30 and 12:35.
You could still see the ground, given
Yes,
the weather.
Yes, sir.
Was there snow starting to fall?
Just starting?
Had you been outside earlier that night?
Yes, sir.
In the ground that you could see, do you know how hard it was?
Ugh, how hard it
The
was.
ground.
The ground, yes.
Do you know if it was soft or hard?
Like the road?
Brennan, calm down. Calm down, okay? Objection. We thought Judge Jolene was getting a little too sexual, but Brennan, oof. Do you know how hard it was? The ground? Was it hard? How hard was it? Was it super hard? He's doing this for Bev. He's playing it up for Bev. Her bangs are like, woo, woo. They're like going up.
The ground, the grass, the lawn.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
This
it
guy's
was a
like,
cold
what?
night, so I mean, I assume it's hard.
Around that time, around 12:30 when you left, was there inches of snow?
No, there's
On the
not
ground?
inches of snow, no. I can still see the grass coming through the snow. I mean, it's just like a coating.
You could still see the bare ground.
Correct, sir.
Bear. Oh, God.
When you saw that SUV in front of you for the time that you were there, that 5 minutes, did you ever, and you said that you saw brake lights at times, did you ever see at that point missing parts of its taillights?
No, sir, I wasn't observing the vehicle like that.
When the taillights were on, when the brakes were on, what color was the glow?
Red, sir.
Did you ever see a missing piece where it was white instead of red?
No, sir.
Weird.
Over near the flagpole where you saw this SUV, did you see any human being, any person lying on the ground near the flagpole?
No, sir.
When you drove by the SUV, you said you couldn't see past the woman. Could you see inside the SUV when you drove past?
Repeat yourself.
When you drove past the SUV, you saw a woman in the driver's seat.
Yes, that is correct.
You didn't see anybody else.
No.
Do you know if anybody else was in that SUV?
Could have been.
I'll allow it.
It could have been.
From when you were driving by the SUV and you could see inside the driver's seat and saw the woman, could you see on the other side of the SUV if there was anybody standing on the other side of the SUV?
No, sir.
Was there anything obstructing your view as you drove by and saw the woman to prevent you from seeing on the other side of the SUV?
The woman and the vehicle itself.
Right, Cammy?
You mentioned that there was a dome light on. in the SUV.
Yes, sir.
Was the driver's side door open?
Yes, sir.
Was the driver's side door open?
No,
when you
sir.
drove by?
No, sir, it was closed.
Can I have exhibit 16, please? Did you ever see this man at any point
No, sir. I've
Walking?
never seen. Oh, sorry.
walking across the yard, going to a door, or entering the house the entire time you were there?
Objection.
Sustain.
No, sir. I've never seen.
That means you don't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Could you take that down, please? And after you left, you never went back that night, did you?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Just briefly,
Yanetti's back.
on those issues, sir, you just testified on cross-examination before Mr. Brennan stood up again that you saw that the passenger seat was empty. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You're not changing that testimony?
No, I'm not changing that. No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nope.
All right, you are all set, Mr. Nagel.
Oh my
Thank you very
gosh. That was wonderful. So quick. Thank you, Ryan Nagel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now Bev's like, oh, you got to go.
Oh, half of you got to go. You got to go by noon today.
Oh, y'all already set it up. Y'all set it straight to the
Yeah, we heard the dog.
But thank you, Ryan. That was very quick. Don't forget to smash that like. Let's get to the next witness. Hear ye, hear ye.
You tell the evidence report during the case now hearing the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
So this is, I believe, Ryan Nagel's ex-girlfriend who was there that night in the car, trying to pick up his sister Julie, and she was like, "Now I'm having fun, White Claws for life. So where's my wife?" So now she is going to testify. So Ryan Nagel, who we just saw testify, his ex-girlfriend, I believe.
Whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Hi, I'm Heather Maxon, Maxon.
Hi, Heather.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Oh, you're a baby.
Do you live in the area?
I do.
How long have you lived in the area for?
My whole life.
Do you know a person by the name of Ryan Nagel?
Yes.
And how do you know him?
I dated him a few years back.
I want to have you take us back a few years to
Sure.
January 29, 2022. Do you remember that evening?
Yep.
Is that his water bottle? So sorry, Heather, you're still picking up after Ryan, after all these years. After all these years.
Where were you earlier that evening on January 28, 2022?
We were at Ryan's parents' house, just hanging out.
Whose parents?
Ryan's.
Were you with anybody else besides Ryan and his parents?
Ricky.
Eventually, we met up with friends
Where?
at local restaurants.
Did you end up at one restaurant or bar in particular at the end of the night?
We were first at CF McCarthy's, and then we went over to the hillside.
Were you drinking?
Yes.
Do you remember about how many drinks you had?
No.
Did the alcohol affect your perception or your memory at all?
Most likely, yes.
Do you feel like you were impaired in any way?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, someone tell Jen McCabe this, because Jen McCabe says, I didn't feel a thing. I'm impervious to alcohol. I was at the bar. I had some drinks, but I didn't feel it. Alcohol doesn't affect me. But this lovely gal says, yeah, of course. Yeah, I was drinking. I was affected.
After you left the establishments, after they closed, did you go somewhere?
We went to pick Ryan's sister up, Julie, from a friend's house. She needed a ride.
Before you went to pick Ryan's sister up, did you have other plans before that?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yes. Before the decision was made to go pick up Ryan's sister, were there other plans that you were?
No.
That was just the plan to go get her?
Yeah.
Do you remember generally or specifically what time that was?
Late midnight?
Do you remember the time exactly?
No.
Is there any marker in your mind that would help you remember exactly what time it was?
Not necessarily, no.
So is that a generalization or a guess?
Yes.
Okay. When you went to pick up Ryan's sister, do you know where you were going?
No.
Were you driving?
I was not.
Who was driving?
Our friend Ricky,
Where were you sitting?
in the backseat.
And what kind of vehicle was it?
It was a truck.
Are you familiar with the area?
Not necessarily, no.
Do you remember at some point taking a turn onto the road
Yes.
that had the house where you were going to arrive?
Yes.
How do you remember that?
Be careful, lady. She's not familiar with the Alberts or the Mick Alberts or 34 Fairview. You might be the next one they blame for this. So be careful, Heather.
Just a visual bystander, and I'm aware of my surroundings, I'd say.
Did anything happen that made you remember the turn before you got onto that road?
There was another vehicle also on the road coming from the opposite direction, and we had let that other vehicle turn onto the road before us.
Describe in a little detail what happened at that intersection.
So I don't recall the name of the street that we were on before we took the left onto the street that the house was located. But the car coming from the opposite direction was taking a right onto the same street. So we had somewhat yielded to the car coming from the opposite direction to have let them take a turn onto the street before us.
Did you see if the driver of either vehicle gave any indication to the other vehicle who should go first?
I don't necessarily recall, but I'm assuming maybe
I don't want you to assume. That's okay if you don't recall.
Sure.
Who turned first onto the road, Ricky or the other car?
The other vehicle.
The other vehicle, do you know what type of vehicle it was?
It was a big, like SUV, a bigger car.
The SUV turned before you?
Yes.
Before or when the SUV turned, did you get to see inside the vehicle?
I did see inside the vehicle, yes.
Could you describe for the jury what you remember seeing?
I saw a male and a female inside the car.
Where was the female?
Female was driving and the male was in the passenger seat.
Was the male in the front passenger seat?
Yes.
Were you able to recognize either the female driving or the male in the front passenger seat?
Recognize?
Yes.
I'm not sure if I understand the
Did
question.
you know who they were?
No.
Strangers?
Yeah.
When they turned and then Ricky turned after them, how far ahead of Ricky were they?
Maybe 100 feet.
Could you see them the entire time?
No.
When you drove to Fairview, how long did it take after the turn?
A couple minutes.
It took a couple minutes to get from Cedar Crest to Fairview? That's
Maybe.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. When you arrived at Fairview, where did Ricky stop?
Outside the house on the street.
Do you remember where on the street in relation to the driveway?
No.
The other vehicle, the SUV, was it in front of you or behind you when you stopped?
It was in front of us.
When it was in front of you, did you notice anything about the vehicle?
No.
Did you notice anything about its lights?
No.
Did you see whether the interior light, the dome light, was on or off?
I did as we were leaving.
Before you left?
No.
Did you ever see that dome light come on?
No.
Did you notice anything about the brake lights?
No.
Did you notice anything about the vehicle's taillights, whether they were intact or broken?
Nope.
When you arrived at that address, do you know the street address?
I do not.
When you arrived at that address, what happened next?
I believe Ryan had reached out to Julie saying, we're here, time to go. And so she had come outside and we had a short conversation and she decided that she was actually going to stay at the house. She had invited us in, but I had said that I didn't want to go inside. I just wanted to go back to the house.
Decision, girl.
From the time you first arrived at that address and until the time you
I love that Heather's like, well, I can imagine Heather's like, well, what's going on in there? And Julie's like, it's so fun. We're hanging out with these old guys, Brian Albert, Brian Higgins. There's just all these Brians. There's a Brian Jr. There's so many people. You should come in. We're drinking White Claws and Jen McCabe. That's the auntie sister-in-law. She's talking about It's Raining Men, the song. It's going to be so fun. And Heather's like, I'm going to pass.
Sounds like a pretty disgusting party to me.
Sounds like a pretty disgusting party to me. Good choice, Heather.
You left. Did you ever see anybody get out of the SUV that was in front of the truck?
I did not.
Did you ever see anybody travel across the front yard to the doorway from that SUV?
Nope.
Did anybody ever walk by on the street, walk by the truck in front of you or behind your truck and walk on the driveway?
No. Well, besides Julie, sorry.
Julie is the only person that you saw in the driveway that night?
Yes.
And then you left?
Yes.
When you left, did you drive by the SUV?
We did.
When you drove by, what were you looking at?
My surroundings.
Okay. What did you see?
I saw the female that I saw beforehand, also still in the car.
Where did you see her?
In the driver's side.
Was there, at that point, any lights on inside the car?
There was, yes.
Which
The
light?
dome lights.
Was the driver's side door open?
Not to my knowledge.
Did you see anybody else inside the SUV?
I did not.
Was there anybody else inside the SUV?
You didn't see anybody inside the car?
Besides the driver? No.
Okay, next question.
Do you know whether there was anybody else inside the SUV at that time other than the driver?
No.
Did you look in and study the interior of the SUV?
No.
Why isn't she talking directly to the jury? It's so weird. We've seen so many witnesses testifying, talking directly to the jury, asking for proof for a lot of things. And she's just answering the questions. Weird. Still very weird to me.
How long did you look inside the SUV for when you passed?
It was just passing. So I don't know, a couple seconds.
Did you see if there was anybody or a man standing outside the door of the SUV?
I did not.
Outside the door?
No.
Did you see anybody lying on the front lawn?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Quick, quick, quick. I like this, Heather. I like this, Heather. Indiana Girl Jules, thank you so much. Indiana Girl Jules says, happy Monday, Cinco de Mayo, week 3 of this wild retrial. I need to know when Michael Proctor will testify again. Me too. He's on the list. Jules, we got to get Proctor and his leaky balloon knot. Got to get that dumbass on here again. All right. Heather's like, hi. She seems nice. I like her. I'd hang with her. Yannetti. I think it's Yannetti still. Going to do a cross.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Before Ricky turned onto Fairview Road, you saw the SUV in front of Ricky's truck, facing it, taking a right-hand turn in front of you, correct?
Correct.
And at that point, you had an unobstructed good look at the driver and the front passenger, correct?
Correct.
And you could see that there was a female driving and a male in the front passenger seat at that time.
At that time, yes.
Now, ultimately, Ricky's car took a left after the other SUV took a right, correct?
Correct.
And eventually, when you reached the house where Julie was, you saw that that SUV was in front of that house, parked now further down ahead of you, correct?
Correct.
And it took Julie a couple of minutes to come out of the house? Do
I'd say so, yeah.
you recall whether there was any conversation at that time between you, Ricky, and Ryan?
Possibly. I don't recall or remember what, but most likely, yes.
And you don't remember whether you were participating in a conversation or what was discussed?
Not necessarily, no.
You had your cell phone with you that night?
I did.
Like many of us, is your cell phone something that you tend to check when you're bored or there's a break in a conversation or you're not actively engaged in a discussion?
No, I check it even when I'm actively engaged in a conversation. Okay. I'm always bored.
For sure.
And while you were waiting for Julie to come out of the house, do you recall whether you were checking out any web page or Instagram or text message or app on your cell phone?
I don't recall.
Can you testify with certainty that you were not checking your cell phone during that period of time?
Not with certainty, no.
And so you can't say for sure how long, if you did check your cell phone, you would have been looking at it while waiting for Julie, correct?
Correct.
And no one's asked you for your phone so that they can analyze what you were doing during that period of time outside 34 Fairview, correct?
Correct.
All right. Well, you testified that you didn't see anybody get out of the SUV or approach the house, correct?
Correct.
You obviously don't know what did or didn't happen before you, Ricky, and Ryan arrived there, correct?
Correct.
While you were parked near the driveway, you weren't thinking that you had to watch the SUV every second in case you were later asked to describe what was going on with that vehicle, correct?
Correct.
And that SUV was the same vehicle that you recognize as previously having a female driving and a male in the passenger seat, correct?
Correct.
And as far as you know, you didn't know either of them at that time?
No.
Fair to say that what they were doing was their business and you weren't particularly interested in what they were doing, correct?
Correct.
You were there to pick up your boyfriend's sister, correct?
Yes.
It was late and you were tired.
Very much so, yes.
You'd had a good amount to drink.
Mhm.
You did not want to continue to drink and socialize, correct?
Correct.
Not with
Fair to
those
say you were looking
losers.
forward to ending the night at that point?
Yes.
And so you were more focused on hopefully getting Julie in the car so you could leave than anything that was going on in the SUV, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Then Julie came out and it wasn't as simple as her just jumping in the vehicle and leaving, correct?
Correct.
There had to be a discussion,
Right.
right? And she came out to speak to the three of you for about 5 minutes or so,
I'd say.
like a back and forth about who's going where.
Yeah.
And when Ricky was pulling away, you looked over to the SUV and you saw that the interior light was lighting up the front compartment, correct?
Correct.
And it was then that you looked over and you saw a female in the driver's seat, correct?
Yes.
You did not see any person in the passenger seat, correct?
Correct.
And you certainly did not see a 6-foot-tall off-duty police officer in the SUV at any point on Fairview Road.
Correct.
Nothing further, thank you.
Well, that worked out very well for the defense, I would say. Let's see what Brennan's got. What's Hanky Panky got? And Care Bear makes a good point. Yeah, if they had been to the house before, it could very well be that, they saw them and they saw, or she saw, Karen and John in the car. And it could have taken them a few more minutes to get to the Fairview, to get to the house. So John could have walked in the house by the time they got there. Could be.
When Ricky was speaking to Julie and you were in the back cabin of the truck, what direction were you facing?
I don't recall.
Were you paying attention to the conversation with Julie?
I was probably in and out of the conversation, yes.
Were you facing the direction of the house in the SUV or were you facing the opposite direction?
I don't think I was facing the opposite.
When you were in the cabin of the car and Ricky was having a conversation with Julie, did you ever see anybody other than Julie come in or out of the house?
No.
I'll allow it.
No further questions. Thank you.
Oh, they want an approach. Objection. Hanky's like, okay, we'll get up there. Bam. Sorry, Chris. talking to her bestie, the court reporter. Hey, girl. Oh, nice hoops. Nice glasses, nice hoops. The hardest working woman in the courtroom, the court reporter. Get it, girl. Get it. Bev is just like, I'm just swaying in my chair, thinking about Yannetti and his buzz cut, and hanky, panky, panky.
20 minutes.
All right, please. Just close your notebooks and follow me.
All right. Short break. We are on a short break. I'm going to fast forward because we are behind. So that is the beauty of it. And while we fast forward, let's play a little. Let's see. Jen.
I'm 26. I'll be 27.
Jen. Then we got Julie Nagel herself coming to the witness stand. The woman, the myth, the annoying legend who called her brother and his friends to come pick me up. I want to go home. And then they got there and she's like, you want to come in and drink White Claws? They got the Kirkland off-brand from Costco. Come in. And they were like, no, that party sounds disgusting.
Sounds like a pretty disgusting party to me.
I don't want to potty with old men. No potty for old men. Okay, here we go. Apologies to old men.
All right, Mr. Brennan, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Sarah Levinson.
Oh, I lied. It's not Julie Nagel. It's Sarah Levinson. I got excited. I thought, oh, surely they're going to have Julie Nagel. No, don't listen to me. Objection. You don't even know what you're doing, and you're supposed to be the judge in this case. Sustained. Sarah Levinson.
For the court reporter, would you mind spelling your last name?
I was going to say, she does not look like her brother.
Sarah with an H and then Levinson.
Ms. Levinson, do you mind if I ask how old you are?
I'm 26. I'll be 27 next month.
Thank you, Tara.
Do you work?
Yes.
What do you do?
I'm a nurse.
How long have you been a nurse for?
About 4 years.
Before you became a nurse, did you go to school?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your educational background, please.
I got my bachelor's at Regis College.
Do you know a person by the name of Ryan Nagel?
Yes.
How do you know him?
He's one of my good friend Julie's older brothers.
You mentioned Julie. What's Julie's name?
Juliana Nagel.
Are you friends with Julie Nagel?
Yes.
To this day?
Yes.
Were you with Miss Nagel back on January 28, 2022?
Yes.
I want you to take us back to that day, the earlier evening hours of January 28, 2022, maybe around 5 or 6 p.m. Did you have a plan that day?
Yes, we as in myself and Julie, were going to Brian Albert Jr.'s house to celebrate his birthday, which was the next day.
Who was Brian Albert Jr. to you at that time?
One of my good friends.
How long had you known Brian Albert Jr. for?
At that point, probably 8 or 9 years, I would say.
Did you attend school with him?
Yes, high school.
Is that when you met Brian Albert Jr. in high school?
Yes.
Who was going to...
These people stay friends forever. They never leave. They never move. Unless a schmurder happens on their front yard, then they sell their family home and get rid of all their phones and their beloved dog. But otherwise, they're just like, we hung out in high school, preschool, in the womb, all the time, basically. I was there when his parents conceived him, and he was there when my parents... It was weird.
To Brian Albert Jr.'s house with you?
Just myself and Julie.
Did you have a general plan for that evening other than to visit your friend and celebrate his birthday?
It was kind of up in the air if we were going to stay there or go somewhere. But we were definitely going and celebrating with him.
Do you know the address where Brian Albert Jr. lived?
Yes.
Could you share that with us?
34 Fairview Road, I believe. Road.
Had you been to 34 Fairview Road before?
Yes.
Did you know Brian Albert Jr.'s family?
Yes.
Had you met them in the past?
Yes.
How often had you met with them before?
Well, I was friends with him for, like I said, about 8 years. So I knew his older sister, Caitlin, pretty well. We went to high school together, but the younger siblings, I don't believe we overlapped in school. And then his mother, I had met, a good amount of times. And then his father, too, I would say.
How many times would you estimate you had been over 34 Fairview prior to the night of January 28, 2022?
100.
Over the years, maybe like 20. I don't know.
Do you remember what time you arrived at 34 Fairview Road on that evening?
It was between 7 and 8 o'clock at night.
Who did you go with?
Myself and Julie Nagel.
Could you tell us how both you and Julie Nagel got from where you were living, your home, to 34 Fairview?
Yes, Julie's dad drove us.
When you first get to 34 Fairview Road, before you walk in the front door, what's the weather like outside?
It was cold, but it wasn't raining or snowing or anything.
No snow on the ground?
No.
When you walked in the door, did you go in the side door or the front door?
The side door.
Take us through walking into the house. What do you see?
So we walked through the side door, and then it's their like family room, they call it, with like the TV and everything. And then at the back of the family room is like a sliding glass door out into their porch. And then if you turn left, it's like the kitchen / dining room. And then there's a back door. There's like a small bathroom over like near the back door. And then if you walk straight through, it's the front door, the stairs, the door to the basement. And then they called it like the library is like their formal
library
living room.
If you walked in the front door, would the stairs leading to the next floor upstairs be right in front of you?
Yes.
If you were going to go downstairs, would you walk around that staircase to the back side of it?
I don't believe the back, but the side.
Okay. You mentioned you walked in the side door near the garage. When you walk in the side door, you're in a living room, did you say?
Yeah, their family room, they call it. Yeah.
Can you walk into the garage from the family room, or do you need to go back outside to get into the garage?
No, you would have to go back outside.
So there's no door in that family room that leads directly to the garage?
No.
After you walked into the family room, did you stay there or did you go somewhere?
We stayed there for a little bit, like 10, 15 minutes probably.
Tell me who's in the house when you get there.
It's Brian Jr., his mother, Nicole, his sister, Caitlin, and then his aunt, Julie.
What do you do?
I think we were just sitting on the couch, hanging out, waiting to see what the plan was, to see like when other people were going to show up.
Did other people arrive or did people leave before other people arrived?
Brian's mom, sister, and aunt left before anyone else arrived.
Do you know generally around what time his aunt and mother and sister left?
We got there, like I said, between 7 and 8, and they probably left within 20 minutes of us getting there.
Okay.
So I can't say for sure.
When his sister and mother and aunt left, was it just a time when it was you, Julie, and Brian Albert Jr. alone?
Yes.
Were you doing anything other than watching TV? Were you eating, drinking?
I don't think we were eating yet because we ordered later on food, but we might have been drinking.
Tell us what happens over the course of the next couple hours.
So at some point, probably between like 8 and 9, 4 other girls showed up. So Courtney Alba came by herself, and then Catherine Duty, Emily Fabiano, and Mary Kent all came together.
Are those friends of Brian Jr.'s?
Yes.
Did you know who all of them were?
Yes.
Were you friendly with them?
Some of them, yes. We were all friendly, but not friends. That makes sense.
So what's the atmosphere like when the visitors come?
Celebratory, light, joyful. It was fine.
Were people drinking alcohol?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point, did you order food?
Yes.
And did anybody else come at that point? Any other friends or family?
No.
Did one of Brian Jr.'s cousins come at some point?
Yes.
Is that later?
Yes.
So over the course of the next couple hours, eating and drinking, anything significant happen?
No.
Any arguments, any tension, any problems?
No.
Was it a positive night?
Yes.
At some point, did anybody else come to the house?
Later on, yes.
Okay, about what time?
After midnight.
Around midnight.
I knew it.
So before midnight, it's a group of young people having a party?
And then the moldy
Any
oldies
trouble?
came in.
No.
Did the friends of Brian Albert Jr., the 4 women, did they leave before midnight?
Yes.
What time did they leave?
Between, I would say, 11 and 11:30.
Did they arrive and leave as a group, or did they arrive and leave separately?
The 3 girls that I mentioned that came together, Catherine, Emily, and Mary, all left together. And then Courtney left I believe, before them separately.
I want you to tell us generally where were you spending most of your time that night, the eating and the drinking and the party?
In the
Bathroom.
kitchen/dining room area.
Is there a table in the kitchen?
Yes.
Were you sitting at a seat at that table?
At that point, we were more around the island, but later on, yes, I had a seat at the kitchen table.
If you're in the kitchen seated at the table, can you see outside?
Not really. If I looked through the windows above the sink of the kitchen, I guess I could if it was light out. And then the windows to the front of the house had a little half curtain, I don't know what it's called, thing on it. So I could see above that, but not.
If you were to walk to the windows in the living room area, what area was it, did you say, the half window?
The dining room.
If you were to walk to those windows, could you see outside?
Yes.
Would you be able to see the driveway?
Yes.
Flagpole?
Yes.
Street?
Yes.
The door, do you remember the front door, if it was solid or glass?
They have a storm door that's glass and then a solid regular door.
If you opened up the solid door and looked, could you see through the glass door to the front yard?
Yes.
At any point, did you have a chance to look outside that night?
No.
If you're in the living room, the kitchen, can you see where the basement access is?
Yes.
Can you see the backyard door?
Yes.
You mentioned that the visitors, the young woman that came to see Brian Jr. left. After they left, did somebody else come to or arrive at Fairview?
After they left, yes.
And who was that?
It was Brian's father. His name is also Brian. Mr. Higgins.
Big Brian Higgins.
Brian's mother came back, his sister Caitlin, and then his aunt Jennifer and his uncle Matt.
Oh,
If I can just step back just a little time before the adult group showed up.
Yes.
Did any other of Brian Jr.'s cousins come to Fairview?
Yes.
And who was that?
Colin, but he showed up before the girls left.
He showed up before the group of young women left?
Yes.
How long did you see him stay for?
Probably half an hour, 45 minutes.
Did you get a chance to speak to him?
Yes.
Did the mood change at all in the house?
No.
When the adults came to the house, do you know about what time that was?
After midnight.
Around midnight.
You mentioned that you saw Brian Albert. Is that Brian Albert Jr.'s father?
Correct.
And his mother's name?
Nicole.
You also mentioned a person by the name of Brian Higgins. Did you know him from before that night?
No.
Did you meet him that night?
Yes.
Are you now familiar with who he is and what he looks like from that night?
Yes.
There was somebody else you said, Brian Jr.'s aunt and uncle?
Yes, and then his sister.
His aunt and uncle, what are their names?
Jennifer and Matt McCabe.
Did you know Mrs. McCabe from before that night?
Somewhat.
Had you ever socialized with her?
I don't believe so.
Come on, Jen McCabe knows everybody. She likes to talkie. She's the yapper.
I knew
She's got 4 daughters. She's got 4 daughters, right? 4 daughters.
She was. I don't know if she knew my name, but I think she knew I was Brian's friend.
Had you seen her before?
Yes.
Was that in relation to spending time with Brian Jr.?
Yes, I believe so.
Had you ever seen her or spent time with her outside of Brian Jr.'s presence?
No.
How about her husband, Matt McCabe? Did you know
No.
who he was?
I knew who he was, but I don't believe I had ever met him in person before. No.
Anybody else? Any other adults come with that group?
No.
Do you remember who came into Fairview first as far as the adult group?
Yes.
Who?
Mr. Albert, Brian's dad, and Mr. Higgins.
And who came next?
Next, I think they all kind of walked in together. Caitlin, Nicole, Jennifer, and Matt.
Other than you, Julie, and Brian Albert Jr., had the young group left at that point?
Yes.
After that group arrived, what happens? Tell us what's happening inside the house.
So it then was Brian Jr.'s actual birthday. So again, we were celebrating. Caitlin, his sister, was playing music on one of the speakers. And we were all pretty much sitting or standing around the kitchen table, talking, socializing.
Do you remember what was being played for music?
Like 70s, 80s type of music. I don't want to overstate it.
She's like, it was old because I'm young. So it was like before I was born. And like when George Washington was around, I think, from history class. Yeah, I think that was his song for his inauguration for the first president was "It's Raining Man." Okay.
But
were you drinking?
I don't believe I was anymore at that.
Girl, you're all drinking.
At that point, no.
Did you feel impaired at all?
No.
As the night grew on, was there any problems in the house?
No.
Any argument?
No.
Any fighting?
They were praying.
Anything exciting or controversy in any way?
No.
Did you have a plan that you were going to leave with Julie?
Yes.
What was the plan?
She said that her oldest brother, Ryan, would pick us up and drive us home when he was done.
She was like, oh, Ryan's coming. I'm going with you then. He's kind of hot, huh?
Wherever he was.
Did you see at any point before you ultimately left Fairview, did you see your sister leave the did you see Julie Nagel leave the house?
Yes.
Did you actually see her go and leave?
Yes.
About how long did she leave for?
5 minutes or less.
Did you see her come back?
Yes.
After she went out of the house and came back in, did the plan change about a ride home with her brother?
Yes.
What was the new plan?
So a little bit before she went out to talk to Ryan, we were talking, myself, her, and then Jen, were talking about how we were leaving and Julie's older brother was going to come pick us up. And we were the only ones that weren't like related to the Alberts there. So like Brian's friends left. So Jen was like, oh, like, don't leave just yet because like we were celebrating Brian's birthday. If you want, myself and Matt can drive you home a little bit later. So we agreed to that. And then Jen said, feel free to invite Ryan inside because he was already on his way. So Julie went out to tell Ryan like, hey, we're not coming with you. But
you weren't outside for the conversation, so you just heard the second hand from Julie.
Yeah.
So from what you saw, Julie went in and out.
Yes.
For about 5 minutes.
Yes.
Peanut butter bread.
Why did you decide to stay? Did you want to stay?
Yeah, I didn't mind.
Did the night continue after Julie came back in and spoke to her brother?
Yes.
Was the mood any different than it had been the entire night?
No.
Anything extraordinary or remarkable happen inside that house?
No.
After Julie went out and spoke to her brother and came back in the house, did anybody else come inside the house other than everybody who was already there celebrating Brian Jr.'s birthday?
No.
Did you ever see another man or woman you didn't know come into that house?
No.
At some point, there was a decision that you would leave, I suppose?
Yes.
What time do you think you left generally?
Between 1:30 and 2 in the morning.
Do you have a specific time? Did you look at your watch? Did you know a certain time you left?
No, I believe it was closer to 1:30 because I believe I was home by 2, but I can't say for sure.
When you left, tell us what the weather was like when you went outside. Was it the same as when you came in?
No, it was snowing.
What was the conditions like? Had they changed? The wind?
Was
or
the ground hot?
Yes.
temperature?
Yeah, it was colder.
How much snow was on the ground at that point when you left?
Like
a dusting.
I don't know, a dusting or
what did I
could
see?
Still see
How do I know this?
like some little pieces of grass like sticking out of it. But it was pretty much like the
Don't tell anyone in Canton, but I might be a witch. I knew she was going to say a dusting.
Walkway and everything was white.
Did you leave by the front door or the side door?
The front.
You remember that?
Yes.
Was there any type of hazard or difficulty with you walking?
Julie and I walked out together down like the front stoop stairs. And I remember we were arm in arm. I was wearing shoes that didn't really have traction, so I was looking at my feet, so I didn't slip. And other than that, no real hazard, I wouldn't say.
Whose car or vehicle did you walk to?
Jennifer.
I think that Hanky Panky wanted her to say, was there any hazard out there? Yes, it was very slippery. Remember Colin Albert? Remember how he fell, knuckles down, but just his right knuckle, his punching knuckle down, and it got all bloody, like when you punch someone, but it wasn't from punching someone, according to him. It was that it was slippery and he was at a party. It had nothing to do with violence. He was hoping she would maybe say that. She did.
Jennifer and Matt's.
Did you get in?
Colin was
What seat did you get in?
The back seat behind the passenger.
And where did Julie Nagel sit?
The back seat behind the driver.
Did the McCabe's get into the car?
Yes.
Who was driving?
Matt. And then Jen was in the passenger seat.
Front passenger?
Yes.
As you were leaving, was there any conversation or joking going on?
Yes. So Matt actually forgot his jacket inside, so he went back in. And then I believe myself and or Julie turned around just kind of looking, and we saw a lone loaf of bread in the third row. So one of us said something to Jen about the loaf of bread.
Oh, shit. It's the bread jokes. Everyone was laughing because Jen's got peanut butter bread. We were like,
You ever hear of a ritual killing?
Jen!
Jen!
Because I had like bread and maybe peanut butter in my car.
Why did you have bread and peanut butter in your car?
I had my niece for the week, and I was dragging her like to all my kids' sporting events. So we'd go from like one game to another game to a practice. So sometimes instead of always giving her McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts, I'd try to throw her a peanut butter sandwich.
And they were making fun of you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what the hell?
Sometimes instead of always giving her McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts.
Or Dunkin' Donuts. I feel so bad because listening to it, Jen McCabe says, and I just throw a peanut butter sandwich at us. You just threw it at her? Oh my God. You could have just handed it to her. Don't you got any paper plates, a napkin?
Which she had gotten the third row. So one of us said something to Jen about the loaf of bread, which she had gotten because of the storm. And I believe Jen was.
She got it because of the storm. Whoa, 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 whoa. Back it up. Back it up. Did you guys hear that? She has the bread because of the storm. We just heard Jen McCabe say from her own mouth, it was because she's cotton around her niece everywhere and she doesn't always want to get a Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's. So she throws peanut butter sandwiches at her face. But you said it's because of the storm. Is that what Jen told you? Because that is not what Jen told me. We are getting different stories about the bread and the peanut butter.
Was turned around looking at us and said something along the lines of, does anyone want a peanut butter and jelly? Joking around.
Where'd the jelly come from? There's no jelly, peanut butter sandwich. No jelly was ever mentioned. What's going on here, Levinson?
Do you remember that moment having the conversation about the bread?
Yes.
It stands out?
Yes.
As you drove out of Fairview, you were in the McCabe vehicle was in the driveway?
Yes.
Did it back out or go out forward?
No, backed out.
When it backed out and began to drive away, what side of the vehicle was closest to Fairview?
You mean the house?
Yes. Was it I'm sorry. Was the passenger side of the McCabe vehicle closest to 34 Fairview, the house, or was it the driver's side?
The passenger.
When you drove, did you drive towards the flagpole?
Yes.
And during those moments when you were, or Mr. McCabe was driving towards the flagpole, was that the time you were having conversations about the bread, or was that a different time?
That was a different time.
What was happening as you were driving past that area in front of the house?
I believe maybe I was on my phone, and then Julie said something.
Did you ever look out the window near the front yard, near the flagpole area?
Not like at the front yard, but a little ways up the street. Yes.
Next to 34 Fairview, up the street is 32 Fairview?
I believe so, yes.
When you looked out the window, the first time you looked out the window, what were you facing in relation to 32, 34 Fairview? What could you see?
There's like a little bit of woods in between the two houses. So it was the trees.
Did you notice anything that stood out?
No.
Ultimately, did you get home that night?
Yes.
There was no objection, Your Honor. There was no jelly. Sustained. There was no jelly. Yeah, it was peanut butter. What flavor jelly? Strawberry or grape? Kara wants to know. Peanut butter. It was peanut butter.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mm-hmm. All right, Hanky Panky's done with her, and now we're going to get across. We got Yannetti back. Or are we going to hear Alan Jackson? I'm sorry, Alan Jackson. Ooh, everyone's drunk. I prefer strawberry jelly. That's just me, but I like grape too.
Good morning, Miss Levinson.
Good morning.
Oh, Alan's here. Alan's home.
You've been longtime friends, as you've described, with Brian Albert Jr., going all the way back to high school.
Yes.
And that high school friendship has percolated into a friendship into adulthood.
Yes.
Not percolated.
You obviously know much of the entire immediate family, Brian Albert Sr., his wife, Nicole Albert, correct?
Yes.
You know his uncle, Chris Albert.
Yes.
You're familiar with his wife, Julie Albert.
Yes.
Obviously, Brian Albert and his cousins, by the way, which cousins are they? Last names?
Do I know?
Right.
There's the Alberts, and then there's the Galvins, the Reardons, and the McCabes.
Okay. You indicated that you've been to the Albert home probably at 34 Fairview. That's the home I'm talking about.
Yes.
Probably you estimated at least 20 times. Correct?
Over the years, yes.
Over the years. And you've known Brian Albert since high school. I mean, in the last 8, 10, 12 years, you've been to the house to and from.
Yes.
You've never met, or you had never met, going into January 29th, 2022. You had never met their dog, had you?
Their dog?
The dog.
I not completely sure.
Didn't you testify about a year ago in another proceeding that although you had been to the Albert home many times, you had never actually met the dog?
Justice for
If
Chloe.
that's what it says I said, then yes.
Is that because the dog was not really good with strangers?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you know why you hadn't met Chloe? By the way, did you know the dog's name was Chloe?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know why you hadn't met Chloe in all those trips to 34 Fairview?
No.
Just wasn't out and about among the folks that were in the house when you were there.
Yes.
When you left 34 Fairview, I want to follow up very briefly on a couple of things that you said just before Mr. Brennan sat down under question by him. When you left 34 Fairview to join Jen McCabe at her invitation to take you home, you left through the front door, correct?
Yes.
As opposed to the side door. It's a little confusing. The front door has the brick stoop and the stairs, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the door that you normally would leave through, or did you normally leave through the side door, come and go through the side door? What was your more ready habit in practice?
Probably the side door.
Okay. When you left through that front door, there was nothing obstructing your view as you walked out, correct?
Correct.
You could see to the left, the driveway. You could see to the right, over toward the flagpole. Nothing obstructing anything, correct?
Correct.
There was a light dusting of snow at that time when you left just after, what time was it? 12:45, 1?
Probably 1:30,
1:30.
1:45. Yeah.
Got it. So you leave at 1:30. There's still just a light dusting of snow on the ground?
Yes.
The yard is flat?
Yes.
You could see all the way out to the flagpole?
Yes.
You didn't notice anything unusual at that time when you looked out toward the flagpole walking out of that front door?
I didn't notice anything. I wasn't looking out at the flagpole, but yes.
You're looking in that direction. When you walk out of the door, obviously you're standing, walking out of the door toward the front yard, correct?
Correct. But as I stated, I was looking down at my shoes in front of me.
Okay. Obviously, then you have to, at some point, you have to look up to see where you're going. You have to turn left to go to the driveway. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Then you walk over and walk parallel to the yard again to walk over to the car.
Yes.
And as soon as you walked out of the stoop, you had to figure out where the stairs were, so make sure you don't fall down the stairs, right?
Yes.
But you're still looking up, like normal, correct? At some point.
Most likely.
My question is, you didn't see anything unusual in the yard, did you?
No.
The front yard was at least relatively, I know it was dark out on Miss Levinson, it was relatively lit by the interior windows as well as lights on the outside of the house?
Yes.
You indicated that you did, in fact, get the ride home with Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe. Who brought up giving you a ride home? Was it Jen?
Yes.
Okay. And she also mentioned it, did she mention it in your presence to Julie as well?
About the ride home?
About the ride home?
Yes, in my presence.
Okay. You said that Matt McCabe was driving, but before he got in the car, he realized he had forgotten his jacket and went back in, correct?
Yes, I don't know if he had gotten in the car and then got out, or he just opened the door, but yes.
He was at the car.
Yes.
So he had exited, by definition, he had to have exited, pardon me, the house through the front door, as you did, to go out to the car the first time?
Yes.
And then he got to the car, then realized he forgot his jacket, walked back toward the front door, went back in the main door?
Correct, yes.
And you saw that?
Yes.
Then once he retrieved or fetched his jacket, he then walked back out that same front door, down the stoop, looking out over the lawn, and then over to the car, correct?
I didn't see him walk back out, but I mean, probably. I don't want to say yes for sure because I wasn't watching him at that point.
Understood. No reason to believe that he would have used a different door.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna have just a moment.
Okay.
Alan's like, I need a minute. I got to talk to Yannetti. We got to do a little whisper. He's like, hey guys, I think it's going pretty well. Let's do a 1, 2, 3, go Bundy's on 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yannetti, you smell good. And you smell good. You kind of smell good too, Karen. Okay. What about Alessi? Can't smell him. He's too far away. All right. I'm ready again. Thanks for the smells.
You were contacted ultimately by law enforcement to provide an interview, correct?
Yes.
That was not until October of 2022. Is that right?
Yes.
A couple of quick questions about that. Nobody contacted you on January 30th, the day after the incident that you left the house, correct?
No.
And when I say nobody, I mean from law enforcement. Nobody contacted you the next week?
No.
The next month?
No.
It was 9 months later.
Yes.
When you were finally approached Who was it that conducted the interview?
State Trooper Michael Proctor.
Ew.
Did Mr. Proctor indicate to you
Boo,
why
tomato.
he waited 9 months to contact you?
Objection.
Let me ask a different question. Were you confused about the fact that you weren't contacted?
Objection.
May we approach?
We got an approach. May we approach? Okay. Okay, but only if I can scruff your beard a little bit, Alan Jackson. You can touch my bodacious bangs, and I want to scruff up your beard. What do you want to talk about? We got a long sidebar here.
Julie, before the interview. Okay. A different question.
I went too far.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. When you were finally interviewed, let me ask a different question. When you were ultimately interviewed in October of 2022, was that telephonically or was that in person?
In person.
Were you alone or was there anybody else with you?
I was alone. You mean like besides the troopers?
Besides the troopers?
Yeah, I was alone.
And had you prepared for that interview with any person or persons before that interview?
Same, Amber.
Have you
I don't want
spoken
to
to anybody,
testify.
Julie or anybody else about the potential for being interviewed?
I believe Julie called me to.
Okay, I shouldn't have spoken during that. I'm going to rewind it a bit. But Amber says, I hope I never have to testify. It would be horrible. Yeah, I hope to never have to testify, especially in a high profile case. Oh my God. No, thank you. All right. So now he's going to be, looks like Alan Jackson wants to know who did you talk to? Is Jen McCabe's hands in this? Did you do a timeline with her?
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. When you were finally interviewed, let me ask a different question. When you were ultimately interviewed in October of 2022, was that telephonically or was that in person?
In person.
Were you alone or was there anybody else with you?
I was alone. You mean like besides the troopers?
Besides the troopers?
Yeah, I was alone.
And had you prepared for that interview with any person or persons before that interview?
No.
Had you spoken to anybody, Julie or anybody else, about the potential for being interviewed?
I believe Julie called me to tell me.
If I may, don't tell me what was said. Did you speak with
Julie, you're always calling people. You're in everybody's business, but you said, oh, I just was helping where I could, but I'm not in it like that. Oh my gosh, Julie.
Oh, half of you got to go. You got to go by noon today.
Jen!
Julie is so involved. Everyone's talked to Julie, allegedly.
with Julie before the interview?
I believe Julie called me to tell me.
If I may, don't tell me what was said. Did you speak with Julie before the interview? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And one more question, without telling me any of the words that were used, was the subject matter the interview? In other words, I'm not asking if you talked to Julie about going and getting the dry cleaning picked up or something like that. Did you talk about the subject of the interview with Julie before you were interviewed?
Somewhat.
Okay, that's all I have.
Oh, damn. Oh, Ellen. You know, Julie's at home like, what? Did she say that? She's a liar. That's why I didn't give her a peanut butter sandwich. Not Jen McCabe, but Julie. Ugh. Julie's all in it. Jen's all in it. Oh my God. Sorry. The Julies, the Jens, they all blend together because they're all in everybody's business. You're in my business. Oh my God.
Anything, Mr. Brennan?
Briefly, Your Honor. Can I have Exhibit 3, please? Do you see the windows on that house?
Yes.
Do you recognize that house as 34 Fairview?
Yes.
You were asked whether there was light coming out of the house illuminating. Do you remember that?
When I was asked that?
Yes.
Yes.
Was the lights
True,
inside the
Dale,
house,
true.
from your memory, illuminating the ground near the flagpole and that fire hydrant?
No.
When you came out of the house and went to the
Sorry,
car, were you
Jules.
looking at or studying the flagpole area or the bushes or the fire hydrant in that area?
No.
Do you have any reason to be looking over there and studying anything?
No.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
All right, Ms. Levinson, you are all set. Thank you.
All right, Miss
Next
Levinson.
witness, please, Mr. Brennan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Commonwealth will call Katie McLaughlin.
Oh shit. Katie McLaughlin is coming up. Ambulance girl herself. Let's hear it. Paramedic extraordinaire. Katie McLaughlin coming to the stand. Smash that like if you haven't already. You guys, let's see where we're at with the likes. And our goal is 250. Can we hit it? Can we hit it while we're live? Can we hit it and then quit it? We got 86. So we're on our way. If you haven't already, smash that like, smash it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no. Here we go. Katie is coming to the stand. Katie is coming for you. Here comes Katie. Katie.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Not you. You can choke.
Oh, we'll see what kind of mood Katie's in this morning. Bev is like, it's snack time. Her bangs are starting to fall. They're not as bodacious as they were in the beginning. They're getting a little curtainy.
Please hold me straight to the court and jury in case now hearing truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
Good morning.
Oh, sorry.
Come on in.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Brennan.
Thank you. Ma'am, could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Katie McLaughlin. I'm 29 years old. I work for the town of Canton as a firefighter paramedic.
All right, Ruby.
Did you study to become a paramedic firefighter?
Yes.
Why did you become interested in becoming a paramedic firefighter?
Objection.
I enjoy helping people. I have some family members who work in the healthcare field, and I just always thought it was interesting, and I wanted to do something meaningful with my life.
Okay.
Did you have to have any special training or education to become a firefighter and paramedic?
Yes, you do. About 2 years of schooling. It's divided in between a didactic portion and then a clinical portion in the hospital and ambulance. So it takes about 2 years to.
Let's just fast forward a little bit, do her resume.
And when did you first become a firefighter?
2017.
Okay, firefighter, paramedic.
Provide care for people who are in need.
Yes.
How many calls could you even?
Somebody threw something. Somebody dropped something. Probably Paul O'Keefe dropping his nudes.
Could you estimate how many different calls you had been on as a paramedic or firefighter leading into the beginning of 2022?
Probably hundreds.
I want to ask you some background as a paramedic firefighter, your role as you see it. As a paramedic firefighter, are you part of law enforcement?
No.
Do you?
And she's like, I'm not part of law enforcement. I didn't saw it.
Seen to help somebody. What's your part? You help assist the person. So when you go and arrive to work, especially that night, or was that already assigned?
Ask it differently.
Was that assignment?
You're leading. Objection. Brennan, stop leading the witness through your questioning. You know better, hanky panky. Okay, sustained.
Already set before that night?
Yes.
When you get a shift assigned to you, is it night by night, week by week, month by month?
It's just we rotate through. If you're on a group and your rotation begins again.
On January 29, 2022.
For that shift, I was on the engine. I was the back step. So there's an engine driver, there's an engine lieutenant, and then there's one person in the back who's just a firefighter status. And we call that the back step.
As the back step that night, did you have any specific or general responsibilities if there was a call?
Generally, if it's a fire-related call, you deal with that. If it's a medical call, you're there to assist the paramedics that are on the ambulance, and you take directive from them, whatever they ask you to do or need you to do. You're just there to assist them so that they can best focus on the patient.
When you arrive at the scene and you're on the back step, are you basically at the directive of the leader of the group?
Yes.
Jen McCabe, just kidding.
That morning, around a little after 6 a.m. on January 29, 2022, do you remember a call or a tone coming in?
Yes.
Do you remember what it was for?
It was for a man down in the snow or a man unresponsive in the snow.
Do you remember leaving the fire department that night?
I do.
Tell us as you're leaving what's happening.
So I'm in the engine, the command car with the captain who runs the shift, started to 34 Fairview Road first. The ambulance was in front of us, and then we were behind the ambulance.
Did you know the address you were going to was 34 Fairview Road?
Yes.
And when you left the police station, or the fire station, when you got on the back of the truck, did you know at that time who lived at 34 Fairview Road?
No.
Tell us a little bit about the conditions outside as you rode to 34 Fairview Road.
It was raining. I'm sorry, not raining. It was snowing pretty heavily. There was definitely snow on the ground at that point. It was windy. It was very cold.
Was there a storm?
Yes.
How long do you think it took to get from the fire station to Fairview Road?
Probably within 5 or 6 minutes.
When you first started pulling up towards Fairview Road, did you see anything?
Police cruisers and a civilian vehicle. And then we pulled up all kind of in front of that.
How many police cruisers did you see as you pulled up to Fairview Road?
I remember seeing one.
There was an ambulance in front of you?
Yes.
Did the police cruiser have their lights on?
Yes.
Not just their headlights, did they have the lights that are often referred to as blue lights or overhead lights?
Yes.
Did you hear any sirens?
No.
How about the ambulance? Did the ambulance have emergency lights?
Yes.
Did you hear any sirens?
No.
The fire truck, does the fire truck have emergency lights?
Yes.
Do you remember if those were activated?
Yep.
Does the fire engine have a siren?
Yes.
Was the siren activated?
No.
Why not?
We only use the sirens to kind of clear cars out of the road. So there's no need to use a siren when there's no cars on the road. So we're not just doing it in the middle of the morning to wake everybody up. It's just unnecessary.
When you first arrived at Fairview Road and you saw the emergency vehicles, did you see any people?
Yes.
While you were still in the fire truck or after you got out of the fire truck?
Probably after I got out.
After you got out of the fire truck, where do you go?
So I knew that they were working on a patient. So I knew they're going to need the stretcher. So myself and firefighter Walsh went right to the ambulance and retrieved the stretcher and brought it as close to the patient as we could.
At some point, did you see the patient?
Yes.
Was it he or she?
It was a man.
Where was he when you first saw him?
He was lying supine on the side of the road, up off the curb, like into a lawn.
How close to him were you when you first saw him?
Well, I only made it to the curb where I brought the stretcher. He was maybe from here to that table, maybe.
When you stood on the curb and you saw that man lying, was his feet closest to you, his head or his side?
His head would be closer to me.
Did you lift the man from the ground?
No.
Did some of your colleagues?
Yes.
After you brought the stretcher or the bed to the side of the road, did you remain there on the side of the road?
They lifted him on the backboard, they put him on the stretcher, and then they pretty much immediately started moving to bring him in the back of the ambulance.
Around the area where you first saw this man lying supine on the ground, was there anything other than ground? Were there any objects?
I'm sorry?
Was there any objects near him?
I remember seeing a fire hydrant. And that's all I can really remember.
When you mentioned that he was lying about as close to that table as you, would 8 to 10 feet be a fair estimate?
I don't know that I could say.
Okay. At some point, did you receive further directions from anybody on the team asking you to do something?
Yes. Firefighter Flamati I was at the head of the stretcher with firefighter Flamati, and he asked me to try to gather more information and kind of see what happened and what's going on.
Did you have someone that you wanted to gather information from?
Yes. There was a woman who seemed to be really concerned and involved with the patient's status. And so I just kind of assumed that this would be the person that I could try to get more information from.
Did you take a guess?
Yeah.
The person that you try to get more information from, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you point that person out and describe an article of clothing they wear?
Oh, dang. Oh, dang. Oh, dang. At first, when she was right there, I was like, oh, that's kind of sassy. But when she was like, black suit. So she talked about Karen Read. But did you see the look she's given her? Right there. Black suit. Let's watch that again. Little Miss Kate. What's this one's name? Katie.
With the patient's status. And so I just kind of assumed that this would be the person that I could
dirty looks coming up,
try to get more information from.
Did you take a guess?
Yeah.
The person that you try to get more information from, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you point that person out and describe an article of clothing they wear?
Black suit.
Black suit. Oh, the looks could kill. She hates Karen Read.
Oh, I just kind of assumed that this would be the person that I could try to get more information from.
Did you take a guess?
Yeah.
The person that you try to get more information from, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you point that person out and describe an
just like over there, that nasty broad over there.
Article of clothing.
Suit.
Black suit.
Black suit.
Black suit. Black suit. Oof, the daggers on those eyes. Black suit. Karen Read. Oof.
And do you
Oof.
see that person sitting in between?
Katie's not
I
a
do.
fan.
Her attorneys.
I do. Her attorneys, that Alan Jackson. I prefer the country singer, personally. They weren't at the bar.
Did you approach that person?
I did.
Now, you mentioned you're not a police officer or a criminal investigator. What type of information are you hoping to get generally in these circumstances?
Some basic demographic info. You can answer a lot of questions by just asking a few very simple ones. So obviously you're trying to get his name and his date of birth. And then you ask questions if the patient has a medical history, if the patient takes daily medications, if the patient has any allergies. And that's all things that can help to sort of maybe explain why this person is in the position that he's in. For example, if someone says, reported that he had a heart condition or a seizure disorder, or he was a diabetic, that would help us sort of, that's relevant information for us for his treatment and to pass on to the hospital.
Did you have a chance to speak with the person that you had pointed out?
I did.
When you spoke to that person, did you get a chance to ask any of those questions you would typically ask?
I did.
When you spoke to the person, what did they tell you?
She gave me his name, his date of birth. She denied him having any medical history or daily medications or allergies. I was kind of moving around. She was moving around the scene. So I was kind of moving around, trying to gather the information with her.
Did she say anything to you in addition to the typical background information that you would try to obtain from somebody?
Yes.
What did she say?
Well, I asked another question. Once we had come to a stop, I asked if there had been any significant trauma that happened that preceded this. And she answered with a series of statements that she repeated. I hit him. I hit him. There was a woman next to us who told her to calm down, stop talking, calm down, you're hysterical. So she repeated, I hit him. And a police officer asked her, said, you what? And she repeated it again, I hit him. And the officer then signaled for his sergeant to come down to the scene or down to where he was.
When she first told you that she had hit him, you said there was another woman next to her. Did you know who that woman was?
Probably Jen.
Not at the time.
Do you now know who that woman was?
I do.
And who was that?
Miss Jen McCabe.
Oh,
Did you know Miss McCabe at that time?
Jen is everywhere you don't want to be. That's where Jen McCabe is in this trial. You guys, we hit 95 likes. Can we get 140? Smash that like if you haven't already.
No.
Do you know her personally now?
No.
Are you friendly or friends with her in any way?
No.
You mentioned that when the defendant said, I hit him, Miss McCabe was trying to intervene?
Yes, it appeared that way.
What did it appear she was trying to do?
Trying to get her to calm down, to stop talking. It appeared that she was...
That's a great point, Max. So we're going to arrest Karen now, right? Then should have been the time to arrest her because she has now, according to them, said it according to this witness, according to Jen McCabe. Karen said, I hit him in front of paramedics and in front of a police officer. So we're at the scene where there is a deceased person on the lawn and someone has allegedly admitted, being Karen Read, according to them, that she hit him with her car. Surely you'd have to arrest her, right? But they don't.
Sustain. Jurors disregard that comment.
Did Miss McCabe interject verbally?
Yes.
Intervene?
Yes, it appeared that way.
What did it appear she was trying to do?
Trying to get her to calm down, to stop talking. It appeared that she was...
Sustain. Jurors disregard that comment.
Did Miss McCabe interject verbally?
Disregard.
Yes.
After Miss McCabe interjected and the defendant made those statements about hitting him, did you persist in getting more information, asking to clarify what she meant by I hit him?
No, I did not.
Why not?
A few reasons. I felt at that point, given the situation and how disturbing, and it was a very emotional situation, the woman was very upset. I didn't feel comfortable pushing and asking for more. I just didn't think that it was the right.
Okay, so if you're at the scene of a crime, let's say it's a bullet wound. and someone is standing there going, I shot him, I shot him, I shot him, you're going to go, he's just emotional already. I don't think I want to push that, question that, no, I don't think I want to push that any further. But you say you just have an admission of why this man who you've been called to the scene of is dead, but you're like, I just don't want to push it. Yeah, someone did just admit to it, but it's just like kind of uncomfy. So I just kind of let it go. She was already dealing with so much, if she did, in fact, kill him with her vehicle, like I don't want to, push that too hard. It's crazy.
The right time for that. And it was also,
when is the right time when someone allegedly admits to a crime and killing someone? I hit him, and he's dead on the ground. To go, I think now might be, no, let's just wait. Maybe next Tuesday? Should we give her a little bit of time? She's kind of emotional.
really not my place
Weird,
at
weird,
that point.
weird.
And
Does
I
not make
feel
sense.
like that was something that the police that's more their role.
Asking follow-up questions about what she meant by I hit him, would that have helped your diagnosis and treatment of the man in any way?
It could have.
But you made the decision to stop asking her questions?
I did.
Did you ask her any more questions after she said I hit him?
I decided not to.
Objection. Brennan leading with this questioning. Damn. Okay, fine. Sustain. I'm going to sustain it. I'm not going to overrule it. I'm going to say it's true.
At some point after you spoke to the defendant, did you go back to the ambulance and tell anybody, any of your colleagues?
I did.
And why would you do that?
That's the whole point of me trying to get more information, is that I get the information and I bring it back to the people who are treating the patient. So
did you go back to the ambulance and repeat that information to your colleagues?
I did.
Did you have any other further role at the scene as far as helping the man or doing anything else?
No, other than I drove the ambulance to the hospital.
With the gentleman in the ambulance?
Yes.
Did you learn who that person was?
Yes.
Did you know at the time who it was?
No.
When you got to 34 Fairview, did you recognize the home when you got there?
No.
Did you later learn who lived at that home?
Yes.
Did you know somebody who had lived at that home?
Yes.
Did you know that person lived there?
Now it's getting good. You guys. If this is your first time watching, who do you think she knows who lives at that house? 34 Fairview.
Did you later learn who lived at that home?
Yes.
Did you know somebody who had lived at that home?
Yes.
Did you know that person lived there prior to that night?
I learned that she lived there.
Okay. And that person that you knew lived there, what is their name?
Caitlin Albert.
How did you know Caitlin Albert?
Oh my God, that's Brian Albert, the homeowner. Brian and Nicole Albert. That is, you guys, their daughter. Not only does she know her, they went to school together. They're pictured together. They've traveled together. They went to baby showers together. They're friendly. Oh my God. So yeah. Everybody knows everybody in this drunken town.
Did you know somebody who had lived at that home?
Yes.
Did you know that person lived there prior to that night?
All the Alberts.
I learned that she lived there.
Okay. And that person that you knew lived there, what is their name?
Caitlin Albert.
How did you know Caitlin Albert?
We went to high school together. We're in the same grade. We have mutual friends, and growing up, we had different friend groups, but those groups would often get together in bigger groups and hang out. I see her in group settings. I socialize with her occasionally. I don't have a personal relationship with her. I wouldn't consider her to be a friend of mine, but
that's weird. Here they are together partying. Looks like 4th of July, having a cup of BS. Here they are in somebody's kitchen. We like to party. We like to party. Here's them on the beach. Hey, with the BS. Just, don't know her that well. Just drink together, party together, been to a baby shower. There's more pictures. You can look them up. I found them on Twitter. Oh boy.
I do see her occasionally because of social events. I don't have a one-on-one. I don't have a close personal relationship with her.
Was she a friend on social media back at the time?
Yeah.
Since this event, have you been on any outings or trips with friends of hers or in a group setting where she was present?
I don't remember ever seeing her since then.
Had you ever talked to her about your role that night?
Never.
Did the fact that somebody you knew lived in that house that have anything to do with your treatment and care that morning?
Not at all.
When you saw the man in the back of the ambulance, did you make note whether he was missing any clothing items?
He was missing a shoe, a sneaker.
I'd like, with the court's permission, to play Exhibit 4, part of it.
Okay.
We got an exhibit.
Ms.
Yep,
Gilman, if you can
Jerome,
start at
all up in the
6:13:45.
Instagrams. All up on the social medias.
Stop, please. Do you recognize whether or not you're in that video, ma'am?
Yes.
What color jacket are you wearing?
I'm in the red and yellow jacket.
Okay, continue, please.
We'll see.
Stop, please. There are two yellow jackets, one on the left, one in the middle of the screen. Do you know which one is you?
I'm now in the middle of the screen.
Okay, continue, please. Stop, please. Do you know who that is on the left of the screen at the flagpole?
Which one?
To the left. If you could play a few more seconds, Ms. Gilman.
It's two officers and a civilian woman.
Okay. How about on the left? Do you know who that is?
Oh, no.
That time is 6:15:12. If you could continue, please. Stop, please. Is that ma'am in the yellow?
Yes.
Okay, continue, please. Stop, please. Do you see yourself on that screen?
Yes.
What color jacket?
The red and yellow.
And who's to your left?
Miss Reed.
And across from you, with the blue or black jacket with the hood. Do you know who that is at this time?
Miss McCabe.
And you didn't know her at the time?
No.
Do you see the officer that's turned away from you?
Yes.
Do you know who he's speaking to?
No.
Do you know the exact moment that the defendant told you, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him?
I think it was just prior to that.
Okay. Continue.
How come we got no audio? There's been audio previously on these. We don't have any audio.
Stop, please. Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Oh, let's get that cross. It better be Alan. Alan, you better get up here. Yeah, as you can see, she's hysterical. She's a hysterical woman. It's crazy. Another crazy broad coming from the back. Here comes Alan Claus. Here comes Alan Claus.
Good morning, Ms.
Ready
McLaughlin.
to
Good morning.
cross-examine.
You indicated that one of the things that is paramount to the life-saving effort or the medical assistance that you and your colleagues provide is to determine what the cause is of the injury, correct?
To determine, just to gather as much information as we can about his history and like recent events that could have precipitated how we found the patient.
What you said on direct examination was, quote, what happened and what's going on, end quote, correct?
No nudes yet.
Yes.
So for instance, the what happened, you want to find out. And
My husband's back for more nudes. Oh, thank you. Are you keeping me hydrated?
Yeah.
What is this?
Costco.
Oh, a Costco smoothie. Oh my God. Shout out. Put your hearts in the chat for Hype Man husband, Chell RN.
I got it. I'm not an RN yet.
coming through with the smooth A.
I'm not an RN yet. You said future RN.
Well, that's what we're saying. We're saying, hi, my husband, Chell RN, because he just graduated nursing school.
Not yet.
All right. He's got his
It's
test
very
coming up.
important because this stuff could be used against me in a court of law.
Okay. It could be used against him in a court of law. He's got his test coming up. And as soon as he passes the test, he's, hi, my husband, Chell RN.
Yeah, that's a passive test.
I was just thinking, I'm a little hungry.
Really?
Mhm.
That should hold you over.
Thank you so much, sir. Ooh, it's delicious.
You also got different drinks because I know you were
Oh, did you pick up bevies for me?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love you. Oh my God. We're never going to be a Dateline episode. I love that man. All right. Let me rewind a little bit. Back in it, you guys. Back in. I was just thinking, I am hungry. All right. Here we go. Alan Jackson on the cross exam.
Is to determine what the cause is of the injury, correct?
To determine, just to gather as much information as we can about his history and like recent events that could have precipitated how we found the patient.
What you said on direct examination was, quote, what happened and what's going on, end quote, correct?
Yes.
So for instance, the what happened, you want to find out and differentiate what happened. Is it a gunshot?
Yeah.
Sure. When you're asking what happened, or trying to determine what happened, for instance, one of the things you're trying to do is differentiate between a gunshot and a knife wound, correct?
Yes.
Or poison, or ingestion of a poisonous substance, or a heart attack.
Yeah. In this particular
I'm
this
not asking
scenario,
about
it's
this sentence.
Next question.
Thank you. I'm asking about in general, when you're taking on information, trying to download information at a scene, trying to determine, as you said, quote, what happened, correct?
Yeah.
That's important to determine, correct?
Yeah.
You want to get the person's age. You want to get the person's date of birth. You want to get the person's allergies, for instance.
Yep.
But you also, paramount among those, you want to find out what happened. Why are we here? Correct?
Yes.
Did a person fall out of a tree? Or
Right.
stumble down a stair step? Correct?
Right.
In doing so, it's important to relay that information to others as well. You would agree with that, correct?
Yes.
That's the whole point, Ms. McLaughlin. You want to gather the information and then let others know exactly what happened, document that as best you possibly can so that the life-saving efforts or the medical assistance can continue for the patient, correct?
Yeah. You have to share the information that you got with the people who are providing care.
And one of the ways you do that is by writing it down, correct?
No.
No. She said no.
Can I ask you, who did you speak with before your testimony today, in anticipation of your testimony today?
I met with the DA's office a few times.
Who at the DA's office?
Mr. Brennan, a witness advocate, and there were different troopers there at different meetings.
What did you and Mr. Brennan discuss at these? Well, let me ask you, first of all, foundationally, how many meetings were there?
3.
3. When were they?
One in maybe January was just a meeting. One a few weeks ago, we reviewed the testimony from the last proceeding. And then yesterday, briefly to say that I'm getting called and I'm going today. And if I had any questions.
Let's talk about the one a couple of weeks ago. Where was that meeting held?
At the DA's office.
And you said you reviewed testimony with whom?
I watched the testimony from the first trial.
So she was reviewing the first trial testimony. Liz, you deserve a man to do all the nice things for you. I'm putting that out in the universe for you because you deserve it. But if he doesn't, just do them for yourself. Honestly, treat yourself. All right. So she says she went over her testimony.
It was Mr. Brennan, myself, a witness advocate, and perhaps Trooper Tully.
And
at
you
that
and Mr.
point.
Brennan went over your testimony at the last proceeding, correct?
We just watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There obviously were questions about that testimony once you finished watching it, I'm guessing, correct?
I guess so.
Discussed certain aspects of the testimony, is that right?
Yeah.
Mr. Brennan told you that, for instance, he was going to bring out on direct examination, in his examination, your relationship with Caitlin Howard, correct?
He said, I will ask you about the relationship.
And that was in anticipation of me asking about that relationship, correct?
Sustain.
Did Mr. Brennan tell you that he wanted to make sure that he brought out that information so that it wasn't brought out on cross-examination by me?
Objection.
Sustained.
What did Mr. Brennan say about the reason he wanted to bring out the relationship with Caitlin Howard on direct examination?
There was no reason that he gave.
But he did tell you that he wanted to make sure that y'all covered that on direct examination during his examination, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did he say something like that?
No.
Did you say something like that? I would like this information brought out so it's not brought out on cross-examination?
No.
At the last hearing when you testified about a year ago, that wasn't brought out on direct examination. was it?
Uh-oh. Now they know.
Let me approach.
Alan's like, may we approach, Bev? You and your bodacious bangs got to give me something. Do you guys see Paul O'Keefe? Is he there? Is that alleged Cheaterson? He's not in his normal spot. Is that him back there? It's just, nope, it's another random bald man. So Alan's like, come on, you're sustaining everything. Can you overrule one for me? And Bev's like, no, I can't. I don't like ya. Bev you can tell she does not care for Alan Jackson. She's like, no, I don't wanna. You're a jerk. I don't like you. I don't like your facial hair. So, Oh, Lordy. All right. I thought I had a sound effect for that, but I just uploaded new stuff. So I'm still getting to know my little sound clips here. This is, we got behind the scenes courtroom exclusive footage of Bev and Alan Jackson at the sidebar.
I'm sure you think that I hate you, but I want you to know that I hate you.
I hate you too.
I guess we shouldn't hug.
Yeah, probably not.
That was exclusive. No other channel's going to have that, you guys. Smash that like for the exclusive content.
May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin, we were talking about very briefly your testimony about a year ago. In your testimony a year ago, you did not disclose in your initial conversation the fact of your relationship with Ms. Albert, did you?
I object. I move for an instruction.
So the objection sustained. Next question.
Who was it that asked the question about Ms. Albert a year ago?
Objection. Sustained.
Oh, jeez.
Did you tell anyone, Trooper Proctor, any investigator, anybody from the DA's office last year about your relationship with Caitlin Albert? Objection.
I'll allow that.
Finally.
No, only when there started to be a lot of harassment and things insinuations and stuff that started coming out online. I had said maybe once to them that I was concerned I was being harassed.
My question, Ms. McLaughlin, was before the information was disclosed, which was during the first proceeding. Objection.
Let's hear the question.
Before that information was disclosed during the first proceeding, in any of your interviews with Michael Proctor or anybody else from the DA's office, did you disclose, I'm sorry, from the Massachusetts State Police or anybody from the DA's office, did you disclose, did you volunteer that you had a relationship with Caitlin Albert before the first proceeding?
Yeah, I'm saying I told the DA about the harassment and the insinuations. That was before the first trial when I met with them.
How was there harassment and insinuations if it hadn't been disclosed in the first proceeding?
Because it's out there everywhere on the internet and has been.
Before the first proceeding.
Before the first case.
Before you ever testified. That's my question. Do you understand my question?
It's been going on since before the first proceeding.
If you hadn't testified at the first proceeding, at which point it was revealed, how could you have ever suffered any harassment for it? It wasn't disclosed yet, Ms. McLaughlin. You understand?
I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
Who did you tell at the DA's office?
The relationship that I had with Caitlin Albert had been out there. It had been published and proliferated on the internet. So that was before the first proceeding.
And who did you tell at the DA's office?
Yeah, but why would anyone have an issue with that before you testified? They didn't know what you were going to say, what you were going to do. That doesn't make any sense. So Alan Jackson's asking her before the first proceeding, meaning before the first trial, before you were ever testifying, right? Before she was a witness. How could there be people on the internet upset that you knew Caitlin Albert when they didn't even know that you were going to be a witness? How would they have known you were going to be a witness if you haven't even testified yet? This doesn't make any sense.
And
who did you tell at the DA's office?
The relationship that I had with Caitlin Albert had been out there. It had been published and proliferated on the internet. So that was before the first proceeding.
And who did you tell at the DA's office about this before the first proceeding?
I don't remember who it was or the meeting, but
was it Mr. Lowry?
It could have been.
Do you have a memory of that?
Not specifically. I don't remember who it was.
Was it Ms. McLaughlin?
Like I said, I don't
No,
remember
not-
specifically.
obviously, Miss Laura McLaughlin, no relationship.
Like I said, not specifically.
Let's talk about that initial call to 34 Fairview. You responded to the call of an unresponsive male in the snow. That was early morning hours of January 29th, correct?
Yes.
Once you were there, Mr. O'Keefe had been placed on a gurney and moved to the ambulance. You were instructed to go get information about the victim.
Yes.
You've described in a video the basic scene where you claim that this statement was made by my client, correct?
Yes.
That was a situation in which you're standing there, Ms. Read is standing there, Ms. McCabe is standing across from you.
What the hell was that? What the hell was that? Oh my gosh.
Miss Reed
That
was
was
on
weird.
the right, Miss McCabe was on the left, and then there was a officer kind of diagonal across from me.
Yes.
Can you tell me if you recognize the still shot in that photograph?
I recognize me in it. Yes.
And when is that approximately, does that approximate what you're describing? Is that time in which you're standing there, I'm guessing in the yellow jacket, Ms. Reed's to your right, Ms. McCabe's to your left, and there's an officer standing directly across from you?
Yes.
Is this the time that you indicate that that statement was made?
Around this time.
I'd like to have that marked as next in order, Your Honor.
Any objections, Mr. Brennan?
None, thank you.
May I retrieve?
None, thank you. So we got more photos of Caitlin, Albert, and this witness, Katie McLaughlin.
Do you remember the name of the officer that was standing directly across from you when you?
I'll put it on the screen.
I didn't know, but I am aware now.
And then, by the way, that officer name is what?
Officer Sarif.
You're describing a situation in which you're standing there, Miss Reed is next to you, within earshot is a uniformed police officer, and she said, I hit him, correct?
Correct.
Then he said, what? Is that right?
So it's, I hit him. Miss McCabe interjected, and then she said, I hit him. And then the officer said, you what? And then she said, I hit him. And he said, go get Goody down here.
Okay, so is that 3 times or 4 times that you indicate she said I hit him?
4 times.
Oh, we got 4 times. Jen McCabe says 3. I hit him. Now I hit him. I hit him. I hit him.
And
I hit him.
you indicate that at the time that Ms. Reed made these statements, she was hysterical and somewhat out of control. Is that right?
She was upset. I would say hysterical. Yeah.
Did you describe her last year as obviously upset, overly frantic, and almost hysterical?
Yeah, I believe it. I remember that.
Okay. If we could play exhibit 4.
Okay. We got an exhibit.
9,
I hit him. I hit him.
9:15, about 9:46. Can you stop it?
Again, no sound
You see
really.
the 2 people enter from screen right.
Yes.
Who is that?
That would be myself and Miss Reed.
Okay, this is the first point at which you and Miss Reed begin to converge with the other 2 individuals, Miss McCabe and the officer, correct?
I had started trying to gather the information prior to this, and then she was moving around, so I had kind of was following her, asking the questions, and then we eventually came, here to this point and came to a stop.
So my answer, your answer is yes. This is the point at which you converged with Miss McCabe and the
Yes.
officer.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and play it. Pause it. You see yourself sort of in the foreground of the bright jacket,
Yep.
and Miss Reed's just on the other side of it, correct?
Yes.
Standing there.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we have thoughts on. Ms. McLaughlin, during that video, that's the time in which you say, or you claimed last year that Ms. Read was, in your words, obviously upset, overly frantic, and almost hysterical, correct?
Yes.
Did she look almost hysterical in that video?
She was, well, in that video, that could not explain what that scene was like.
Did she look overly frantic in that video?
She was frantic throughout the whole scene. I think that was me describing the entire scene.
I see.
Yeah.
So she did not look overly frantic in that video.
She was upset for sure.
Was she overly frantic and almost hysterical in that video? Just now.
I don't know that you could really see from that video.
Did you see anything that appeared to be overly frantic and almost hysterical?
Like I said, that video is not really you can't hear anything, so it's hard to.
Was she running around?
She had been.
I didn't ask you if she had been.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that happened. When she's standing there with you, was she running around?
No, she had just stopped running around.
Was she gesticulating?
I don't know.
You know what that means?
I don't.
Was she using her arms and
I don't.
going crazy? With her hands and arms and running in circles?
She had been, but like I said. Yeah, but I think.
I'm asking you about what happened before you got there. I'm asking you what happened when. I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm not asking you what happened before we got to that video. Right? I'm asking you about the video in which you described her previously as being overly frantic and almost hysterical. Did she look like she was just gesticulating and moving her arms and spinning in circles?
Not in that video.
Okay, thank you.
This is when I miss Heather and Ryan Nagel.
Ms. McCabe said, I think you need to calm down, correct?
Yes.
And according to you, that's the point at which Ms. McCabe said, you're hysterical, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Just so I'm clear, who in that video, Ms. Read or Ms. McCabe, appeared to be doing most of the talking?
You cannot see from that video.
Who in that video
I don't know.
appeared to be gesticulating with their arms? My client?
Jen.
I
think Miss McCabe was doing that, saying you need to calm down.
This
You're
one?
hysterical.
Jen! Jen!
Jen!
It was Jen McCabe. She seemed to be
from that video.
Who in that video
I don't know.
appeared to be gesticulating with
She was gesticulating. Oof.
their arms? My client or Ms. McCabe?
Jen!
I think Miss McCabe was doing that, saying you need to calm down. You're hysterical.
Oh, the whole time she's gesticulating, she's saying, calm down, Karen. You're being hysterical. Calm down. You're hysterical. Just repeating that?
She was trying to get her to stop and to calm down because of the statement she was making.
I see.
And she was trying to get her to stop, calm down.
I see. Okay. So during that entire video, that was probably 40, 50 seconds or so, maybe it's a minute. That's when you're saying now, Ms. McCabe was gesticulating and saying, calm down, Karen. You need to stop making statements. Calm down. Right? That's what she was doing.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God. Alan Jackson's impression of, I don't think it should be this funny, but it is. I got to slow it back down to regular because I have it up to, 1.3, I think. Okay, let's, Alan going, calm down. Okay. We got to see that again.
Get her to stop, calm down.
I see. Okay. So during that entire video, that was probably 40, 50 seconds or so, maybe it's a minute. That's when you're saying now, Ms. McCabe was gesticulating and saying, calm down, Karen. You need to stop making statements. Calm down. Right? That's what she was doing.
Yes.
Okay.
Calm down, Karen.
Ms. McCabe was gesticulating and saying, calm down, Karen. You need to stop making statements. Calm down. Right? That's what she was doing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you'll agree that Ms. Read was
Calm down, Karen. Calm down. Calm down. She was gesticulating. Also, whoever keeps clearing their throat, and I know I do that a lot, or coughing in there, I'd kick them out. If I was the judge, well, I am the judge. Objection. I have some throat issues. Overruled. You need a throat coat and you got to go. Okay? You need some Ricola and go home. Because that was, important things are happening and being said. And you're like, it's too much. It's too much with the throats and the coughing and all the things.
standing relatively quietly to your right, not saying much of anything.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Ms. McCabe was gesticulating and saying, calm down, Karen. You need to stop making statements. Calm down. Right? That's what she was doing.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Objection. Too much phlegm. Sustained. Sustained. Okay.
Agree that Miss Reed was standing relatively quietly to your right, not saying much of anything.
No, what she had just said, she had seemed upset when she said that. And what she said was obviously Miss McCabe was trying to convince her that that was not, you need to calm down. Stop saying that.
Right in front of a police
You
officer
need to calm down.
who never said he heard her say.
Objection.
Oh, shit. The police aren't backing you.
You were standing 18 inches, 2 feet from officer. Right in front of a police officer.
Obviously, Miss McCabe was trying to convince her that that was not, you need to calm down. Stop saying that.
Right in front of a police officer who never said he heard her say.
Objection.
You were standing 18 inches, 2 feet from Officer Seraph, correct?
I don't know exactly.
Well, give me an idea. I mean, 2 feet, 3 feet, whatever.
He was standing near me.
And he was standing even closer to my client, wasn't he?
Yes.
At this moment, when you claim to have heard the "I hit him" repeated 4 times, where was Officer Flamati? I'm sorry, where's Firefighter Flamati and Firefighter Nuttall?
In the ambulance.
With the doors closed.
Yes.
And the ambulance, this is my ignorance, I'm assuming the engine was running.
Yep.
I'm assuming that there's some sort of a heating system inside that ambulance to keep it nice and warm for patients.
Yes.
So that was running as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
So with that door closed, those doors closed. How many feet away, by the way, from where we're looking? How many feet away? How many yards away?
I don't know. We were fairly close to the ambulance.
Further than you and I are from each other right now, or closer?
I think closer.
Okay. How about now?
I'm not sure. The ambulance was behind us. I'm not sure how close we were.
Right. At least a few yards.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And those doors are pretty thick, secure metal doors that lock. Is that right?
Yes.
Obviously, when you saw them, I mean, I know you don't know what was happening inside the ambulance, but when you saw them, Firefighter Nuttall and Firefighter Flamati were engaged in life-saving measures with Mr. O'Keefe, one doing the bag, one doing chest compressions as they entered into the ambulance, which you did see, correct?
Yes.
When those doors closed, would you presume, from your experience, that those life-saving measures and their focus was on John O'Keefe, that continued?
Yes.
You testified that you went back to the ambulance at some point and you told Firefighter Flamati and Firefighter Nuttall what you claimed to have heard. You told this jury, correct?
I went back to the ambulance after that and I told them what was said and gave them the demographic information that I got.
Okay. So in other words, Firefighter Flamati and Firefighter Nuttall heard it from you. You didn't say it to somebody else and they reported it to those two. They heard it directly from you, correct?
I went back and I said, I gave the demographics and I said, she's saying I hit him.
Right. So in other words, they heard that from you.
I gave them.
Objection.
Is that yes or no?
Objection.
She answered the question. Next question.
I want to ask you a couple of questions about your relationship with Caitlin Albert. You were asked at a hearing about a year ago, back in May last year, May 3rd, matter of fact, 2024, about that relationship. Do you remember what your answer was?
No, not specifically.
You remember saying in response to the question, who's Caitlin Albert? Asked by me.
I don't remember specifically what I said.
Did you say, I went to high school with someone named Caitlin Albert?
Have the page number and line, please.
Line.
May 3rd transcript, 10-24, lines 2 and 3. Did you say, I went to high school with someone named Caitlin Albert?
I believe so.
Refresh your recollection, take a look at your transcript.
Sure.
From the Jen McCabe School of Testifying. I need to look at my transcript. I need to look now. Right meow.
I have May 3.
Okay, thank you, Brennan. Thank you.
May I approach? Yes. Let me wait for you to
No,
go.
no.
You see that? May I?
Yes.
Did that refresh your recollection as to what your answer was to the question, who's Caitlin Albert?
Yes.
Did you say, quote, I went to high school with somebody named Caitlin Albert?
Yes.
Oh. Playing it down because you're hanging out.
Mr. Coughlin,
Hanging out.
That was not a full and accurate
Hanging
statement
out.
of your relationship with Caitlin Albert,
Hanging out.
correct?
Hanging out.
Was that
Hanging out.
accurate?
I mean, that's a fact. That's
Okay, next question.
Well, that's a fact.
Mr. Coughlin, that was not a full and accurate statement of your relationship with Caitlin Albert, correct?
I object.
Was that accurate?
I mean, that's a fact. That's
Okay, next question.
All right, I'd like to be seen.
All right.
Brennan needs some hanky panky needs some attention. He goes, I'd like to be Yana. I'd like to be seen by your bangs.
yeah.
May I?
Yes.
Did that refresh your recollection as to what your answer was to the question, who's Caitlin Albert?
Yes.
Did you say, quote, I went to high school with somebody named Caitlin Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Coughlin, that was not a full and accurate statement of your relationship with Caitlin Albert, correct?
I object.
Was that accurate?
I mean, that's a fact. That's
Okay, next question.
All right, I'd like to be seen.
All right.
All right, we got to go to sidebar. You guys, thank you, Kelly Cal, for the super chat. Kelly Cal says, can we pitch this as a Bravo show? Show name suggestions, please, chat. So, chat, let Kelly Cal know your show name suggestions if we pitch this to Bravo. Also, dang it, Hank, watch the first trial. She said that. She said it already, Hanky to the Panky. Oh, my gosh. She's like, I went to high school with a girl named Caitlin Albert. Not that we hung out, we were buddies, we went in hot tubs together, possibly spring break. Shout out to Bud Light, prom. Now we're older, people are having babies, we're at baby showers together, more vacations, kitchen, pre-parties before going to the bar, allegedly.
Go ahead.
Bikinis
In
and
answer to that
buds.
question, the open-ended question, who's Caitlin Albert? You didn't offer up in that first initial response. You didn't offer up. You didn't say we're friends, did you?
we're not.
You didn't say that we are in the same friend group, did you?
No.
You didn't say we've been friends since high school.
No.
You said I went to high school with someone named Caitlin Albert, correct?
Yes.
Almost as if you just saw her name in a yearbook.
No, I don't agree with that.
That's not true, is it? I mean, that wouldn't be true, correct? Because you did know Caitlin Albert.
That is true. And you asked me if I knew her, and I said yes. And you asked me if I'm friends with her, and I said I wouldn't say friends.
You wouldn't say friends.
Right.
Even as you sit here today, you would not say that you're friends with Caitlin Albert.
No.
You wouldn't say that you've been friends for years.
We've known each other for years.
That wasn't my question.
We've known each other for years, but we are not close friends. We don't have a relationship, just her one-on-one. It's just group settings.
You grew up in the same town together, correct?
We did.
Went to the same middle school together.
Correct.
Went to the same high school together.
Yes.
You socialized with her.
Yes.
You've taken day trips with her and others.
Yes.
You've taken beach trips with her and others.
Yes.
You've taken 4th of July weekend getaways with her and others.
I don't remember that, but
I think that's right here.
Your best friends named Michaela actually lived with Caitlin Albert at college, didn't you?
Yes.
You visited your best friend at that residence where she lived with Caitlin Albert on more than one occasion, didn't you?
Yeah, occasionally I would go to visit the friends that I had there.
You would even spend the night.
She's like, he asked if they had spent the 4th of July together. She's like, I don't remember that. Here you go, July 4th, 2016. That would be the 4th of July. There would be Caitlin and there would be Katie. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is what we in the Bravo pop culture universe call receipts, proof, screenshot, receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, freaking everything.
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, everything.
It's all out there. It's all out there. Katie is getting mad and then lived with her bestie. So I'm just going to rewind that a little bit to where she's like, I don't think we ever spent the 4th of July together. And here's just one of the screenshots of that.
Did you?
We're not.
You didn't say that open-ended question, who's Caitlin Albert? You didn't offer up in that first initial response. You didn't offer up. You didn't say we're friends, did you?
We're not.
You didn't say that we are in the same friend group, did you?
No.
You didn't say we've been friends since high school.
No.
You said I went to high school with someone named Caitlin Albert, correct?
Yes.
Almost as if you just saw her name in a yearbook.
No, I don't agree with that.
That's not true, is it? I mean, that wouldn't be true, correct? Because you did know Caitlin Albert.
That is true. And you asked me if I knew her, and I said yes. And you asked me if I'm friends with her, and I said I wouldn't say friends.
You wouldn't say friends.
Right.
Even as you sit here today, you would not say that you're friends with Caitlin Albert.
No.
You wouldn't say that you've been friends for years.
We've known each other for years.
That wasn't my question.
We've known each other for years, but we are not close friends. We don't have a relationship just for one-on-one. It's just group settings.
You grew up in the same town together, correct?
We did.
Went to the same middle school together.
Correct.
Went to the same high school together.
Yes.
You socialized with her.
Yes.
You've taken day trips with her and others.
Yes.
You've taken beach trips with her and others.
Yes.
You've taken 4th of July weekend getaways with her and others.
I don't remember that, but
One of your best friends named Michaela actually lived with Caitlin Albert at college, didn't she?
yes.
And you visited your best friend.
So we got high school and college so far, tracking of the friendships, and then we also have into what appears to be post-college, people having babies here, baby showers. So definitely friendlier than what she was trying to, lead us to believe that, oh, I think I went to school with a girl named Caitlin. I went to high school. Well, I mean, it's more than that, lady.
At that residence where she lived.
And I would ask, why hide it? If you did nothing wrong, and you're telling the truth, then be like, yeah, I know her.
Caitlin Albert on more than one occasion, didn't you?
Yeah, occasionally I would go to visit the friends that I had there.
You would even spend the night in the apartment with them, correct?
Maybe a handful of times, yes.
You've taken photographs with Caitlin Albert, correct?
I'm in pictures with her, yes.
You've been to baby showers with Caitlin Albert over the years.
I have attended a baby shower with her,
Had
yes.
celebrations with her over the years, correct?
Yeah, we socialize, like I said, group setting, social events. I will see her.
Your Honor, may I approach?
All right, briefly.
Yeah, it should just be like, yeah, I know her. We ran in the same social circles. We don't really talk on the phone or anything. It was never that kind of friendship, but we've partied together. She lived with my best friend during college. I visited there. So it's kind of a friendly acquaintance, but yeah, I know her. It's pretty simple to just say that rather than, no, we're not friends at all. It just sounds like a girl I went to high school with. Just admit it. You look more sus with all of this denying of it and trying to play it down. Just be normal about it. Like our girl Judge Judy says, when you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. That's like my favorite Judaism.
You are both so full of it.
Here comes Alan with all the pictures I think he's going to show. Oh, boy.
What are you, out of your mind?
May I approach briefly?
Yes.
Here comes the receipts.
May I stay by the witness stand just so I can take the photographs back? Can you describe, first of all, take a quick glance through that series of pages and tell me if you recognize what's depicted in those pages.
Yes.
How do you recognize, generally, how do you recognize those documents? What are they?
Objection.
The objection sustained.
Are those photographs?
Yes. Oh.
The photograph. Next question.
Who's depicted in the first photograph?
Myself.
Do you see?
He's like, who's depicted in the photographs? It's photographs of her and Caitlin Albert. And we have Brennan objecting everything, and Auntie Bev is sustaining it.
Does every one of those photographs include you?
Objection.
She's saying that's leading because it says, is every one of those photographs include you? But he already said who's in the photographs, and he can't ask that. So how does he ask this?
Does every one of those photographs include Caitlin Albert?
Objection. I'd like a curative instruction.
Sustained.
How is he going to get through this question?
The reality is, Ms. McLaughlin, your relationship with Caitlin Albert goes back not just weeks or months or years, it goes back a decade. Matter of fact, more than.
I mean, I grew up where we live in the same town, so we went through all the same school systems and everything.
Yes.
I can have this, please.
Yeah, I think that Amber says, to be fair, I have women in my friend group that I don't consider friends. I totally understand that. It would have been a lot easier for her to just say they're friends. I think it would just been easier to be like, we're friendly. I wouldn't say we're friends. And how I would differentiate friends is, do we text or do we talk on the phone? If we don't do either of those things, we're probably not friends. If we don't hang out just us, we're not. But if we're in the same social circle and we end up at parties together and there's pictures of us and we grew up together. But it's not one of my, friends that I talk to or hang out with privately or on a regular basis. There's a better way than whatever Katie did here.
The reality is you did more with Caitlin Albert than simply go to the same school system. Is that right?
Yes.
One of these photographs has you on vacation with Caitlin Albert drinking, correct?
Sustained.
Alan's like, I'm still going to get it in. He's like, one of these pictures has you and Caitlin Albert out drinking. And Brendan's like, objection. He's like, okay, fine. But the jury heard it.
Photograph. On vacation with Caitlin Albert drinking, correct? You did more with Caitlin Albert than simply go to the same school system. Is that right?
Yes.
One of these photographs has you on vacation with Caitlin Albert drinking, correct?
Sustained.
You've been photographed. You've been photographed with Miss.
That is so true, because Phaedra from the Real Housewives of Atlanta was claiming that Nene was a friend, and Nene's like, I didn't know you. And then Phaedra would shade her by going, well, I mean, she was older, but we knew each other. And Nene's like, I didn't know you. We're in the same. That was
Albert on many occasions at many celebrations with your girlfriends, correct?
Like a sidebar, please.
I'm going to allow.
You've been photographed with Miss Albert on many occasions at many celebrations with your girlfriends, correct?
Like a sidebar, please.
I'm going to allow that.
Is that right?
Been photographed on occasions.
On occasions, yes.
That wasn't my question, Your Honor.
Go ahead, ask.
My question was, you've been photographed on many occasions and many celebrations with Caitlin Albert and your girlfriends, that group of girls that you just looked at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those include, as we went over just a second ago,
Good night, Liz.
4th of July vacations, correct?
I'm not sure the dates on them.
I didn't ask you about the dates. I don't know the dates either.
Well, I don't know that was a 4th of July celebration. I'm not sure.
You see a beach photo with American flags in the background?
I'm objecting.
Sustained.
So you've had, those photographs represent some of the celebrations that you had with Caitlin Albert and others in your friend group, correct?
I'm objecting.
Sustained.
You've gone on overnight vacations with Caitlin Albert, isn't that right?
There was one that I can remember, one overnight that I can remember with a big group of people.
Who was that? Where was that?
That was in Maine.
It was in Bethel, Maine, wasn't it?
Could have been. It was in Maine.
Have you been to more than one vacation in Maine with Caitlin Albert?
No, I don't know. That's the name of the town. I don't remember.
You've indicated that you've had baby showers where you attended with Caitlin Albert, correct?
I was invited to a baby shower, not Caitlin Albert's, but she was also invited to the baby shower.
Right, and the two of you posed for a photograph together, correct?
We posed around the girl that was having the baby.
Right, you and who else?
A bunch of other girls, her friends.
Right, was one of them Caitlin Albert?
She was in the photo, yeah.
Standing right next to you in the photo?
She could have been. Is that in there?
Next question, Mr. Jackson.
It's in there.
May I approach?
No. Next question.
You just looked at photographs.
Damn, Bev. Bev goes, no. Those bodacious bangs, Bev is not having it. She's like, no.
I just glanced through them. Sorry.
The objection is sustained.
The reality is, Ms. McLaughlin, your relationship with Caitlin Albert is far more than simply somebody that you went to high school with. Isn't that true?
I described what it is.
Do you stand by your testimony that Caitlin Albert is, quote, somebody I went to high school with somebody by that name?
I said that, and I described the relationship numerous times throughout that testimony to clarify it.
And you clarified it under questioning by me, correct?
Yes. And Mr. Lally, he asked follow-ups.
And in fact, you were shown some of these photographs last year too.
Objection.
Sustained.
I mean, that's a good point. You know the pics exist, so just admit it, and then it will move on. You know it exists. So what are you hiding? Who are you hiding things for? Like, what is the point of this? Just say, yeah, But acting like you've never seen the, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Girl.
The reason you clarified it is because you were confronted with photos of yourself last, correct?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. The reason you clarified it, as you just testified, your relationship, is because you were confronted with photographs of you and Caitlin Albert last year, correct?
I just answered the questions that you had.
Right, and you were shown photographs last year.
I was, yes.
There's also another member of the Albert family that you've spoken to about this case, isn't that right?
No.
January 30th, 2022, you were contacted by a member of the Canton Police Department to set up an interview, weren't you?
No, I was not.
You remember being contacted by anybody to set up an interview with Michael Proctor?
The state police called me, and I met with two state troopers. I don't know which one of the troopers called me to set up the interview.
Isn't it true that it was actually a Canton police officer who coordinated that interview with you?
I have no knowledge of that at all.
Isn't it true that the Canton police officer who set up the interview with Massachusetts State Police and coordinated that interview was a detective named Kevin? Do you remember that?
I have no knowledge of that.
Isn't it true that Brian Albert has a brother named Kevin Albert on Canton Police Department?
I know that now.
Isn't that who coordinated your interview with Michael Proctor?
I've never spoken to Kevin Albert, ever.
You can't remember who it was that set up the meeting. How can you say with such specificity?
Because it was the state police called me. The state police called me. It was a state trooper.
Can you wait till I'm
Just
finished with my
hold on
question?
1 second.
Oh, sorry.
If you can't remember who it was that called you specifically, how can you say with such specificity that you've never spoken to Kevin Albert?
Because I have only ever talked about this case with a state police trooper. So there were two of them there when I went for the interview. I don't remember which one called me, but I've never been contacted by anyone in the Canton Police about an interview or about the case. So I know it's not. I just don't know which state trooper it was that called me.
Did you talk to Mr. Brennan about this issue when y'all met?
No, I did not.
This issue never came up?
No,
About Kevin Albert or the Massachusetts State Police or your first interview?
no.
You remember testifying about this last year?
I remember you asking me about who coordinated the interview.
And now as you sit here, you're saying it was absolutely 100% Massachusetts State Police that coordinated that interview.
It was I only ever spoke to the state police about that interview. I wasn't contacted by anyone else to go in for that interview.
Are you saying that you now have a specific memory of how that interview was set up and that it was Massachusetts State Police?
My only memory
Do
is
you have a memory or do you not?
the question, please.
I don't really get the question.
Can you answer that question?
I don't understand the question.
Ask it again.
Sure. Are you saying as you sit here now that you have a memory of how that interview was set up and it was by a Massachusetts State Police officer?
I always had a memory that it was a state police officer.
Okay.
I don't know which one. That's why I said I don't know.
Isn't it true that last year you were asked that very similar question? This is at 10-56, lines 10 through 15. Question, do you recall being contacted by a completely different officer to say, hey, Trooper Proctor wants to talk to you. Come on, it's Captain PD. Wants to have an interview. Answer, I don't remember exactly how the interview was set up. Remember that?
Right.
So as you sit here, you now have a specific memory that that interview was set up by Massachusetts police officers.
That's the only memory I have of it. And when I said I don't know, you said somebody other than Proctor, and I didn't know if you were referring to the other state trooper that was there because I didn't remember specifically who called me to come in for the interview. But I've never spoken to anybody in the Canton Police about that interview or that setup.
In fact, Kevin Albert is Brian Albert's brother.
I'm aware of that now.
You're aware that Kevin Albert is Caitlin Albert's uncle.
I guess so.
How many conversations did you have with anybody before you actually sat down with Michael Proctor? Either in anticipation of setting up the interview or otherwise?
None. I think once I got the call, I just called my chief that they're asking me to come in. And that was that.
And you got the call from whom?
I don't know which state trooper
Doesn't
called
know.
me.
But as you sit here now, you're very specific in your memory.
Next, he's going to pull up pictures of her and Michael Proctor, the leaky balloon. Now, is this you and Michael Proctor at Applebee's? No, it's Chili's. I'm pretty sure it's TGI Fridays, actually. Yeah. It's back when they had twisted chicken and cheese.
I
Oh,
only
boy.
ever met with state troopers, and no one from the Canton Police ever contacted me about an interview, setting up an interview.
During your interview with Michael Proctor, did you disclose to Trooper Proctor that you had a pre-existing relationship with any member of the Albert family?
No.
Did Michael Proctor disclose to you during that interview that he had any kind of relationship with the Albert family?
Objection.
System.
I want to talk to you for
They didn't have to expose that they had relationships, connections to the Alberts family because they knew. They all know each other. So they don't, it's like, oh, what's up, Procta? You been over to Brian Albert's house just lately? Yeah, Brian Jr. had that birthday that night, the unfortunate night. Yeah, he turned like 23, 20. Nobody knows how old he was. But they went to the bar and then everyone went over there afterwards. Were you there? No, me neither. I didn't get invited. It's weird because I know them.
For a second about your role, you did in fact arrive at 34 Fairview, Mr. Laughlin. How long had you been a firefighter paramedic at that time, January 29th, 2022?
Probably about 5 years.
You said that you responded to hundreds, you believe it's possibly hundreds of calls, is that right?
Possibly.
How many were homicides? Or potential homicides?
None that I know of.
So this would be the first one on January 29th, 2022, is that right?
Yes.
Thanks, Sale.
Obviously, you had never responded to a homicide before. You certainly had never responded to a homicide of a police officer before, correct?
Correct.
You indicated as much on direct examination that you are not and are not now a trained detective, is that right?
Right.
You never conducted any sort of a formal investigation, called a criminal investigation, had you?
No.
You hadn't been trained, you had no advanced training?
Honestly, I think knowing what we know now from the Canton PD and the detectives and Trooper Procta, I think she would fit in just fine if she wanted to be a detective over there. Old Katie McLaughlin.
On how to preserve or interpret statements, memorialized statements for evidentiary purposes?
No.
Or for the use in trial, things of that nature?
Nope.
In fact, your role that morning was just to provide medical assistance and pretty much nothing else, is that right?
Yes.
And you'll agree that it was a somewhat chaotic scene, right?
Yes.
Lots of first responders on scene, right?
Yes.
Everybody working furiously, or at least people working furiously to provide life-saving measures to John O'Keefe, is that right?
Yes.
People were talking over each other. There was a cacophony of engine sounds and noises coming. People talking and trying to speak over the wind and the howling, the driving snow and wind that was coming down, snow that was coming down. Is that right?
Yes.
You hear people in the background, in the foreground, people talking over each other.
Yes.
Emotions, your emotions, everybody else's emotions were on high alert. Is that right?
Yes.
So you were trying to do your job under pretty intense pressure and in a very limited context, correct?
Yes.
You didn't have a tape recorder with you when you were asking my client any questions, did you?
No, of course not.
There's no audio recording of that conversation you claim took place between you and Ms. Reed, is that right?
Not that I know of.
And you've already indicated that you didn't even follow up with a single question when she responded in the way that you've indicated she responded, correct?
Yes.
The words you claim you heard were, "I hit him," is that right?
Correct.
It's your experience that people under pressure, people under stress, because you go to high stress situations all the time as a firefighter paramedic, correct?
Correct.
People in those kind of situations speak in broken sentences or rhetorical questions, correct? Not uncommon.
People react differently at different scenes.
But you certainly wouldn't say that that's uncommon. Oh my God, what happened? What happened? Things of that nature.
No.
Did you hear my client ask the question of confusion, or a series of questions of confusion? Could I have hit him? Did I hit him?
I did not hear that.
You never heard her say anything close to, did I hit him or could I hit him?
I did not.
Ms. McLaughlin, where are your notes regarding this statement?
I don't have any.
Where'd they go?
It's not in the role that I was in. I'm not in a position to write a report on this type of call. It would be the lead paramedic or the officer on scene.
So you didn't write anything down? You didn't have any opportunity to write?
I didn't.
You're just going by your memory?
Yes.
Thank you, Silly Goose. Silly Goose says, nothing to write, just loving this, Jolene. Thanks for the super chat, Silly Goose. I appreciate it. And thanks for smashing that like, you guys. Let's try to get 190. Or 200 would be great.
Austin, just to orient us, can you tell me where you are in that video?
I might be in the middle there, although I didn't get a good look.
The yellow and the red.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like you to pay special attention, Mr. McLaughlin, to your right and your left hands as this video plays. Could we go ahead and play it? Pause it. What are you looking down at?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I would write like stuff on my glove. That's something I'll do as I'm getting the information. Was that
girl? That is technically a no, right? If you write something down, whether it's on your glove or on a piece of paper, that's a no. And you know that's a note.
I mean, come on. I know you. You know you. And I know you know that I know you.
And I know you know that I know you. She's like, oh, yeah. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I write it down. I did write something down. Okay.
Pause it. What are you looking down at?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I would write like stuff on my glove. That's something I'll do as I'm getting the information. Was that your question about notes?
So you were taking notes.
That's just me jotting down the demographics.
Let's keep playing. Pause it. Is this still the part of the interaction where my client is overly frantic and almost hysterical?
That's the point where your client started to make the statements.
Was she overly frantic and almost hysterical?
She was distraught.
Overly frantic and almost hysterical. We're using different words. I'm asking you about your words. Does this describe her as overly
I think the overly frantic and hysterical, I was describing the entire scene.
So you'll agree that she doesn't look overly frantic or hysterical?
Again, hard to say from a video, but.
And according to you, well, that's actually, Mr. McLaughlin, it's easiest to say from a video, isn't it? It's a video.
Yeah, I mean, she's she's not totally in view, and I mean, she wasn't standing there calmly, I guess.
Right, she was hysterical to you.
She was upset. She was very upset.
Hysterical?
I might say hysterical. She was extremely upset.
Okay, and this is the point which Ms. McCabe is saying, calm down, you're being hysterical.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and let it. Pause it. So you indicated that this is the point at which, let me leave the lights down for a second.
What the hell
This the
is,
point at which,
are they putting back in the car? Is that Carrie Roberts putting stuff back in her car? What is she putting back in her car? What is she putting in her car? What is she taking mementos from the crime scene? What is going on?
you said my client had just said, I hit him, basically confessing to having hit John O'Keefe, correct?
Those are the statements she'd made.
Okay. And Officer Seraph is standing right there. Right?
Hmm. Yes.
You see any reaction from him right there?
I know he turned and told somebody to go get the sergeant. I don't know if that already played. I'm sorry.
Do you see any reaction from him?
He responded, "You what?" And she repeated it again, and then he told someone to get the sergeant.
I know that's what your statement is. I know that's your testimony. I'm asking about the video. Do you see him reacting right here?
You'd have to play it again. I wasn't looking at
Wait,
that.
wait. Okay, so Carrie is putting, Kayla said, putting the blankets back. The blankets they took out to cover John in? She's taking them back? Isn't that a part of the crime scene now? Why is she just taking stuff from the scene of the crime and putting it in the back of her car? This is, oh my, did I know this already? You guys know I didn't follow the first trial in real time, but I've gotten myself caught up. But oh my God, I don't think you can take that stuff, right? Now it's got his DNA and God knows what on it. Could have grabbed something from the scene. And she's like, I'm just going to bring these back. Yeah, the still good blankets. Yeah, that's crazy. No secure crime scene. Just taking stuff from the scene, not knowing what happened to this man yet. Still need to investigate. And Carrie Roberts is like, I'm just going to take this back there. Yeah. Is that, I like that watch he's got. I'm going to take that too. Like, what else is she taking?
Not that part.
Do you see him handcuff my client?
Oh, no.
You see him call anybody over to handcuff my client?
He turned to signal to get Goody down here is what.
So they handcuffed her?
No.
Right. They didn't handcuff her?
No.
Even though she just confessed in front of a police officer, according to you.
That's what she said.
I hit him. It's my fault. I did it. That's a confession, correct?
She said, I hit him.
And Officer Seraph just stands there and my client walks away, correct?
You'd have to talk to Officer Seraph about that.
Oh, we have.
You should.
It's weird because you do have, I understand, like graphics is saying, remember, they're not looking at it as a crime scene at this point, but they don't know how this man died yet. And the police are on scene, right? As Alan Jackson's saying, and you have a man dead in a yard. You don't know how he died. You have to investigate that, right? You would think, be like, don't touch anything. Don't take anything. We got to look into this. That's our job.
Okay, so
we got the red Solo cups.
Let's move on. Mr.
He said, I hit him.
In front of a police officer, according to you.
No, to get Goody down here is what.
So they handcuffed her?
No.
No.
No nudes yet, Hubs.
I got leaky balloon now.
You got leaky balloon knot. You go in the bathroom with that shit, okay? Go,
Send you a picture of my balloon.
you go to the bar. Just go to the bar, drink it off. That's what we do in Canton. What's wrong? Drink it off.
They didn't handcuff her,
No.
even though she just confessed in front of a police officer.
He turned to signal to get Goody down here.
Yeah, then we can drink and drive.
Okay.
Just get shitty.
nudes though, right?
You get nudes. No nudes.
Wasn't looking at that part.
Do you see him handcuff my client?
Oh, no.
You see him call anybody over to handcuff my client?
He turned to signal to get Goody down here is what.
So they handcuffed her.
No.
They didn't handcuff her,
No.
even though she just confessed in front of a police officer, according to you.
That's what she said.
I hit him. It's my fault. I did it. That's a confession, correct?
She said, I hit him.
And Officer Seraph just stands there and my client walks away, correct?
You'd have to talk to Officer Seraph about that.
Oh, we have.
You should.
Mr. Laughlin,
Objection.
Okay, so let's move on. Mr. Jackson, I'm not rushing you, but how much longer do you think you'll be?
Not long.
Okay, so,
I can wrap it in a couple minutes.
okay.
Toward the end of this video.
Are you playing it again or should we put the lights on?
If we can play it.
Okay.
Continue. Pause it. You could be writing something down,
I could be.
and according to you, you're writing under glove.
Yes.
Okay. What kind of glove?
Just a regular latex glove that we use on the ambulance.
You didn't have a notepad?
I probably did. Sometimes it's easier to just write it down on your glove.
Right. You write I hit him on your
No, I did not.
Go and play it.
So if you watch this, the only person gesticulating is Jen McCabe going like this. Karen, I haven't seen her raise any body part yet, allegedly.
Still appear to be writing something down, looking down at your glove?
I might be looking at it.
Pause it. Is this also an example of my client being overly hysterical and frantic?
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to her.
Have the lights up. Whatever it was that you were talking to Miss Reed about, it was important enough that you had a pin out. You were writing things down, correct?
Well, I was still finishing writing down some of the other.
Yes, no. It was important enough.
Yeah.
Write things down. Yes, or no?
Yes, I wrote down some of the things that were said.
Some of the things that were important, correct?
Yes.
For instance, you write down John O'Keefe. That's his name, right?
Right.
You might write down a circle with a slash through it. Allergies. No allergies, right?
Right.
You might write down 46 for his age.
Right.
You might write down how he was injured, hit by a car, correct?
I did not know that was. Well, I didn't know what those statements meant.
You might write down 3 little syllables. It was just told to you. I hit him, especially if it had been repeated 4 times as you climbed, correct?
Yeah, I had that in my head and I was going to go tell them that.
And you had a pen right in your right hand, writing things, correct?
Yeah.
You never wrote that down, did you?
I wasn't going to write that statement down on the glove. I remembered that and I went back to the ambulance and told them.
You didn't memorialize that statement on any note that we have, correct?
No.
You didn't memorialize that statement on any glove that you were wearing, correct?
No.
Whatever you wrote down on that glove, where's that now?
Yeah, I don't have it, obviously.
I don't know how obvious it is. What'd you do with it?
You just scratch everything out and you throw out the glove.
Just threw it away.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yes.
that yes?
Yes.
So we don't know what was actually on or not on that glove, do we?
I didn't write those words down on that glove.
As we stand here, we don't know what was or wasn't on that glove.
Name, date of birth, no meds, no history, no allergies. And then I wasn't writing that statement down on the glove. I went back to the ambulance and just reported it.
And importantly, it was important enough, as you say, to go back and report the statement, but not important enough to write it down with that pen that's very conveniently in your right hand, correct?
It's not about importance. I was relaying that information to the ambulance verbally. I didn't need to write it down.
And you, in fact, didn't write it down, did you?
No, I didn't make a report about it.
And you're also aware that not a single police officer out at the scene wrote that down either.
Objection.
Sustained.
That's all I have.
Mr. Brennan, can you do a redirect in 5 minutes?
All right, breaking news, breaking news. I just talked to Hype Man Husband Chell about this glove stuff. People write on their gloves, medical professionals writing on latex gloves. He says he, in fact, has done that, and with like vitals and stuff. So that is a thing that medical professionals do. So she could have, that isn't like, because it seems weird. What is she writing on a glove? But yeah, like a latex glove, when he's taking vitals and stuff, he'll write it down. So that makes sense. But if, again, I hit him, you're not writing that down? And originally she said she doesn't take notes, but that is. Kara says they use a chalk pen to do that. But in heavy snow, yeah, I don't know what kind of pen. I don't think Chell said ISO room and I can't get my real pen out. Then that's what he does, whatever that means. Hype Man Husband Chell, soon to be RN, in the chat. I'll have to ask him. I'll ask Hype Man Husband Chell, soon to be RN, if he's ever written murder confessions down on his glove. Yeah, I don't know. That could be in his future. Fingers crossed it's not. But chalk plus water equals no stick. P says, sure, why not add that? An official report in this matter. The Albert graphics of the Alberts are giving you Manzo vibes from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Oh, isolation room. Okay, thank you, Chick Benny. I'm like, I don't know what these things mean. I have a lot to learn. JP says, agree. Poor John O'Keefe is not getting right. He didn't get a real investigation. They immediately were like, it seems like it just went immediately to Karen Read. We're going to pin everything on her, whether it's true or not. You didn't investigate all avenues. And now the man has been fired. Troopa Procta. But still, here we are. Hype Man Husband Chell says, I always write murder lists on my latex gloves before I help a patient. So there you go. Breaking news. My husband says he always writes murder lists on his latex gloves before he helps a patient. Then he says, then I say, be nice or I'll add you to the list. Allegedly. Obviously, we got to throw in an allegedly for Hype Man Husband Chell to protect him so that he doesn't get in trouble.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Allegedly, Hype Man Husband Chell. Oh boy. So now we got a little redirect. Let's see what Hanky Panky's going to do.
5 minutes.
I can.
Okay.
Can you do it in 5 minutes? Hurry up, Hank.
Action would show you. Ma'am, when Mr. Jackson would show you part of your testimony from a prior proceeding, was he leaving something out when he was showing you that, asking you questions?
Sustained.
When he asked you about whether you knew Caitlin Albert, and you said you went to high school with her, did you immediately then answer questions describing that relationship?
Correct.
Watch the phone.
Were you asked?
Hanky Panky he loves the leading questions. He loves them.
Immediately other questions about the relationship?
I explained the relationship over and over again throughout the testimony.
In fact, you described the relationship over 20 times, didn't you?
I'm sure it was that many.
You didn't simply just say somebody named Kate. I went to high school with somebody named Caitlin Albert. You didn't leave it at that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Do you remember saying, I would say more acquaintances, not close friends?
Right.
Do you remember immediately saying after that, I would say we had mutual friends. We might see each other occasionally because of mutual friends, but we don't have a one-on-one friendship or hang out regularly?
Just sit down, dude.
You remember many more statements after that initial answer where you described the relationship.
Yes.
Similarly, you were asked about a meeting with the state troopers,
Yes.
and the attorney asked you a question about your memory or suggesting that Mr. Albert set up the meeting. Remember those questions?
Yes.
You were asked questions just like that before at the last hearing, weren't you?
Yes.
Remember being asked about who set up the meeting and you saying that you didn't recall?
Yes.
And then remember being asked about whether a completely different officer set up the meeting and you said, I don't remember exactly how it was set up?
Yes.
Followed by, so that was my next question. You may have told me this. Do you have any recollection who set that interview up and you said you didn't?
Right.
And you were specifically asked, does the name Kevin Albert sound familiar? Objection. Do you remember saying no?
The objection sustained.
Do you remember when you were asked at the last hearing, does the name Kevin Albert sound familiar? Do you remember what you told Attorney Jackson?
I told him no.
And then you were then asked, do you know Kevin Albert? Do you remember your response?
I said no.
when you were there trying to help the gentleman that was on the ground, did you know this would become a homicide investigation?
No,
Did anybody tell you this was a homicide?
no.
In fact, when you spoke or the defendant spoke to you, you were simply trying to get background information to help Mr. O'Keefe. When she told you, I hit him, did she say that she hit him with something?
No,
Did you know whether it was with a fist or a foot
no,
or a Lexus?
no.
You mentioned this was not part of your role to investigate. Why didn't you persist? Why didn't you follow up and ask more questions about that statement? What about this?
I mean, isn't she considered a mandated reporter though? Maybe I'm misusing that term, but if she hears stuff like this, stuff that could be incriminating, that could lead to, that could, you would think she would have to tell somebody, do something with that. I don't know. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Medical professionals in the chat, I respect you, appreciate you guys letting me know what ISO is too. I was like, I don't know what ISO is, but that is, that makes sense. Isolation. Duh, Jolene, come on.
Situation and the dynamics caused you not to ask questions.
Sustained is to
Why didn't you persist in getting more information from the defendant when she said, I hit him,
I felt bad for her at the time. It was a very disturbing scene, and I did not want to push further down that road. It's not my job, and I didn't feel comfortable doing it. No.
Then how do you remember she made those statements?
I won't ever forget those statements.
I have no further questions.
Anything, Mr. Jackson?
Very briefly, that was a disturbing scene, you said, correct?
Yes.
An emotional scene.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It was upsetting.
Yes.
A lot of people,
Yes.
For a lot of reasons, right?
Yes.
And that's when things start getting missed, when emotion starts playing a role, correct? That's when details start getting missed.
I guess it depends on the situation.
Right, but this was a disturbing, emotional, upsetting scene, even for you, correct?
I felt that for a civilian to see it, it was very disturbing for them.
Probably wasn't great for you either, was it?
It's not.
Yeah. And your testimony is you never heard my client say, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Correct? You never heard that.
I didn't hear those questions. No.
What you heard was, I hit him. Is that right?
I hit him repeatedly.
And changing gears for a quick second, I'm almost finished, Your Honor. You did ultimately start talking about your relationship in more detail with Caitlin Owen under my questioning, didn't you, after that first statement? Is that right?
Yes.
Boston girl.
That's when I started showing you photographs. Correct?
Objection.
Was that when you were seen shown photographs?
I don't know. I described it so many times. I don't remember.
But you knew I had information that I was going to ask you about.
Objection.
No.
Objection.
It's a good point you guys are making in the chat too. And Boston Girl says, Hank is better than melatonin for real. I thought Lolly put me to sleep, but Hank, he's a little bit quicker, but same. It is interesting that this is a very serious trial. This is a murder trial. This is a man murdered, and this is a woman being charged with his murder, and there's so much reasonable doubt. So these are two people's lives. One has already lost his life and another life on the line. And these people are just annoyed, like, oh my God, why do I have to answer these questions again? I've already said this a bunch of times. Yes, that's what's going to happen. And in your line of work and profession, this probably, I hope it is for you the last time, but it probably is not the last time you're going to be called maybe to a trial or to testify or to speak on behalf of something like this. But they're just so annoyed, like, oh my God, I'm going to miss the basketball game. They're like Matt McCabeing it. Like, oh, no, I'm not going to make it to the basketball game. Oh my God. It's like, be grateful that you're still here on this earth. You're still alive and you're not going through what the O'Keefes or the Reeds are going through right now. But they're just so put out. Kelly Kate, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the Lean Team. Enjoy the custom emojis and the bonus content.
Finally, with regard to Kevin Albert, did Trooper Proctor tell you during that interview that he had texted with with Officer Kevin Albert about setting up your interview? Did he tell you that?
I have no knowledge of that.
Did Trooper Proctor tell you that the reason we're here, the reason we set this up is because Kevin Albert texted me that he had already coordinated with you?
Never, no.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. McLaughlin, you were all set. Jurors, I appreciate you.
Oh, she was très difficile, as the French say, a very difficult witness. Kelly Kell said she said that it was all out before the trial. Yeah, she's like, I was getting harassed before you testified. How did anyone know who you were before you testified? How did anyone know you were going to testify? How did anyone know what you were going to say? I don't understand that. Maybe I'm missing something. And now you're saying you don't know. So now you were lying because you thought no one knew. OMG. OMG. P says she's quite lackadaisical. I wouldn't want her attending to me or mine in an emergency. Lucinda says, wait, your job is going to go out and get all the info and you don't think that's important? I guess not. I guess she didn't. Oh, caught between a rock says, yeah, there's this strange disconnect with everyone. Yeah, where's the empathy? You know, and I think what Anna said earlier in the chat, she said, I'm beginning to believe that everyone in this case, everyone in this city, there's just not a likable one in the bunch. Not a likable one in the bunch. And yeah, you're in the business of helping people. And she's so annoyed, like, oh, I have to say this again, do this again. Yeah, because we're trying to get justice. That one, you guys. Okay, so next up, we have the officer. I'm going to actually come back and do a full reaction to, what was the officer's name? Let me look here. Here, let me grab it. What is this officer? Gallagher? Okay, so Officer Gallagher is up next, and they interviewed or he testified for quite a bit. And okay, and I think this one's a good one, you guys were saying. So I'm going to come back. So make sure you have your notifications on, because I have to come back at 5, and I'm doing my Valley Roast and recap if you are one of my Bravo TV besties as well. But I'll be back tomorrow also with more of day 10, but I'll also come back and do this Gallagher because I want to watch it because I haven't watched it. So I want to see what he has to say. So thank you guys so much for being here and for the likes and the comments. And thank you for subscribing. Shout out to my super chatters, Chickenhead, PK, Dorkface, Neely, Indiana Girl, Jules, Kelly, Cal, Silly Goose, and Kelly. Kate became a member. If you want to become a member of the channel where you get exclusive emojis and bonus content like members only lives, which we'll be having this week. There are links in the description of this video. Shout out to all my mods. You guys are beautiful pumpkin spice babies, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I don't think I uploaded my outro to this new one. So we'll end on Don't Be a Dick by my wonderful husband, Hype Man Husband Chell, soon to be RN. Smash that like, leave a comment after the video post, share me with your friends or those following the Karen Read Trial. Appreciate each and every one of you. Long Minnesota goodbye. Goodbye, you leaky balloon nuts.
Don't be a dick, you're being a real dick. Stop being a dick, you're being a dick.